Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Let no dead horse go unbeaten.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
I'm not a camel.
All right, welcome back from lunch. Welcome. Good to have you back here.
There's a lawsuit.
It is good to be back. It is good to be done. It is good to be done with this portion of the trial. As Myra says, hopefully short deliberations. Myra, I also want short deliberations. I want there to be justice. I want the jury to have all the time they need to reach a conclusion that each one in their hearts can live with and that is just. And that's up to them, whichever way that goes. I want that to happen, but I want it to happen very soon. So I'm with you. Myra, I also want to congratulate you as CEO of the Internet. You have retaken control of the Internet today. Being first in chat, it is back in your hands. You have no one to help you now. Sometimes, being the boss has its privileges. Today, it doesn't. You have to do all the work, and you get the CEO title as well. Congratulations, Myra, being first in chat. You win the Internet. Thank you very much for being here first. We have a poll. I promised Nicole that I would give a poll right after the break. I'm not sure if she's in yet. Let's see. If she pops up in chat, I'm going to go ahead and post the poll. I'd hate to do the poll and get the results back and then she not see it. She's asked for this poll so many times, and I'm trying to get it perfect. But I have to preface, this poll is not for everyone. Even though it may pop up on your screen, I don't want you to answer the poll unless you feel that Alex is guilty. So we're asking only people who feel that Alex is guilty to answer the poll. We're going to wait for Nicole to pop up here in chat and just let us know that she's here and available to see the results before we fire that off. So keep an eye out for that. I did put in here verdict watch because I think we're almost there. We have very few. It'll be short jury instructions. I'd be surprised if it takes more than about half an hour as the judge goes over jury instructions for this case. There are only just a handful of charges. Like 2 to 4, depending on how you view it. It's the 2 murder charges, and then sort of like aggravating factors of possession of firearm, commission of a crime type thing. So just the 4 there. There isn't like a whole stack like Daryl Brooks had with the 96 charges or whatever he had to be read. So it should be pretty quick. The judge is going to give the jury instructions, charge to the jury, and out they go. They go into deliberations. This is assuming no bombshell was discovered over the lunch break, that a juror hasn't gone out and started posting on Twitter or speaking to people or giving a press conference or something. You never know. Anything could happen at this point. But I think if we can safely get them into deliberations, then we're most of the way there, because I think they will be sequestered. It's just my belief that they'll be sequestered. Kathy says, I missed the entire defense closing. It was pretty good. I'd say go back and watch it. I think Jim did a great job. I like that Jim better than the cross-examination and direct examination Jim that we saw during the trial. I think for the most part he was very well put together, had some good arguments on logic and followed it reasonably. There was a little bit in the middle where I think he got a little muddled, and I think it was because the exhibits weren't working properly and it sort of counted on those and it didn't add up right.
Alex stole it as well.
But I think it was really good. Ed, that would be a bombshell. They found the guns. We can't say the bombastic word. Is that what you're saying? Had a pizza for lunch. Thanks to Recovery Addict. I always on go. I had 2 pizzas, and I have to say, I had my pizza, and then I asked Mrs. R.A. for another pizza, and she gave me hers. She did. She gave me her pizza. That is love. She's just amazing. It was really good. Hopefully, no more distractions, no more theatrics, no more circus. Hopefully we can go straight to jury instructions and deliberation, as that's where we're at in the trial. That's where we should be. Showing just a courtroom wall is all we're seeing on the feed, so hopefully that will stay the same. I've got the sound on, so in case they start just picking up some weird channels news, we're going to hear that as well, unfortunately. Will the jury be having eggs Benny for brunch? A little eggs Benedict? Something with eggs in it would be appropriate. We did learn this morning that one of the jurors, who, although she was excused for possibly talking about this, with someone outside the jury or talking with anyone about the trial is inappropriate at this point before they're charged. She did say that she had everything with her except for, her water bottle and a dozen eggs. Because everyone brings eggs on jury duty. But apparently this jury, there's one member of the jury who brought some farm fresh eggs for everybody. Everybody who wants them. Here's a dozen for you and a dozen for you. Was handing those out so that juror said, if I'm getting kicked off, can I keep my eggs? And they did. The bailiff went and got the eggs for her, which arguably was worth more than her jury pay for today. So I would want those as well. Seagulls, what's your vote? Seagulls, I've said this before. I'm convinced that he's guilty. I'm convinced he's guilty. I don't see enough to point to any other reasonable explanation for what happened. The holes in this investigation, I don't see. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, there's a hole, so something should have existed there. Something could have existed there. But really, I'm looking at a landscape, and you're telling me that in the area that is black on the screen, there's an alien. In my mind, I just don't see it. I don't see anything else. There's no spaceship hovering nearby that would indicate that maybe there's an alien. I don't see that, and so I'm going with guilty. Let's see. I ate my wife's lunch. I did, Charlie. I owe her big time. I'm probably going to have to take her out on a really nice date tomorrow. And she'll deserve it. Let's see. By guilty, do you mean he did it or that the state proved it? Guilty that, by that, I mean I am convinced, in my mind, beyond reasonable doubt that he did it. That's what I mean. I don't think this was about the state proving it. If it was about the state's proving it, we wouldn't be talking about circumstantial evidence. I think that the circumstantial evidence can be presented and jurors can make reasonable inferences from that evidence. And doing that, they can reach the conclusion of him being guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And in my mind, I have. Let's see. How crazy would it be if that jury came back with a verdict today? Broadway Garden, if they came back with a verdict, like in the next, they get charged and they're like, oh, we just need enough time to fill out the paperwork type thing, I would be worried. First of all, I would be worried because if the news comes out that they actually decided beforehand, if there was some discussion, I mean, that's boom, that's a problem. If they actually just go to deliberations, do their first straw poll, and they all happen to be on the same page, that would tell me that probably their decision was made a long time ago.
All rise. Court is now in session.
No, it's not. It's not. You guys are just pranking me. It would tell me that the jury had their mind made up a long time before these closing statements. They were just, and possibly even earlier in the court case. I think I would like to see. I tell you that's where I am, where I stand. I have the benefit of being able to go back and rewatch, and I have. I've gone back and rewatched testimony, and I've analyzed it, and looked at it from different angles, and I've looked at physical exhibits as far as the photographs and the documents and the timestamps and the charts and the timelines, and I've gone back over and over, and I've had that benefit, and I've reached that conclusion for myself. The jury has heard everything once. Well, except for the financial stuff. They've heard that about 50 times. We all did. But really, they don't have the benefit of having to weigh and compare and say, now let me go back and compare that to what I heard here. It's just all been in their head. I mean, I can't remember what I did 6 weeks ago. I think we were here 6 weeks ago, but other than that, I have no clue. And the jury's expected to remember all the testimony, everything that came in, all the different he said, she said sort of situation things, the timestamps, the number of steps that were taken, whose phone was where, the card, the data. There is so much to remember. If they already have their decision in their head, I would be concerned. I want to see them look at that evidence. I want to see them say, okay, this is where I'm leaning, but I need to go back and I need to see this. I need to make sure I'm right here on this, or I need to make sure that I understand this or that. And that's going to take some time because there's a ton of evidence. Personally, I think Touchy Feely had the best closing. I did like his style. I did not like the volume. That was my only complaint. Are we buffering? Who says we're buffering? Who is it? I don't know who said buffer. It was in here somewhere. Ding. Oh, John Goldberstein. I don't think we're buffering. That's an alarm you can send to me to let me know that there's problems with the feed. So, John, if you're buffering, I apologize. I don't think anyone else is quite yet. Should be good. Weatherwatch turned on the chat switch. Did that work? Is it working? Let's see.
You're
There it
talking
is.
about stuff that is not relevant.
I think they're buffering, says Terry. Chat screen, make it happen. I'm sorry. So far behind. Bubba says the state's case is rough, says back to the left. It was funny because we've joked about this all along with saying, if only dogs can talk. And Tag gave me a hard time because she was saying, maybe the dog could testify. And I thought she was talking about, or maybe I said that. And I guess I went, in my mind, I went to Lassie. It's like, what is it, Bubba? Who did it? That guy? Bark at, that's where my mind went. She's giving me a hard time about that. But yeah, we went there. We talked about, the dog is the only witness that really knows what happened other than one person, really, and arguably two, if you believe the defense. Homemade lemonade. I need some more, Sharon. I am all out. It gets me every time. It does. Red Pen, you did a great job with the internet this morning. Thank you so much. Back in Myra's hands for safekeeping for now. Yes, Eric, that soundbite is too realistic. It sounds like court's in session, but it's not. Not yet. I'm watching. I've got my eye on it. It's like in the Mike Wazowski, the Monsters, Inc. I've got my eye on you. Always watching. Isn't the jury given the trial transcript as well as allowed to see the exhibits? I don't know if they're given the trial transcript. I think they can go back and ask for portions, but I don't think they're just given all the pages that they can flip through. Maybe they are. They should have all the exhibits and all the evidence available to them. But usually I think they have to ask for things and then it's sent back. I thought Jim knocked it out of the park, says Tar Healer. No buffering here, says Dilly. I thought the guilty at the start of the trial, but prosecution pushed me further to not guilty every day. The more they went into the other crimes, the financial stuff, the lying, the everything that wasn't murder, that was frustrating. Think how many weeks we could have shaved off this trial without that in there. Let's see. I'm not sure if Nicole is in yet. I want to fire off this poll really quickly, but before I do, I need to make sure it is what she wants. Guilty but hung jury is what we will get, is what I think. So how long will it take, Eric, for us to get to a hung jury? How many do you think it will be? I mean, I doubt the judge will let us get to hung jury tomorrow. It's probably going to be Monday at the soonest that we can have a hung jury. Linda says, when they said the T-shirt smelled like it was just washed, there were these glandular pellets to make your clothes smell fresh for a week. I know there's been all sorts of studies that mostly targeting college students on how to make dirty clothes smell fresh. It's a big market there if you can crack that open. Kitty says, recovery addict, at this point we should all be convinced he's assumed innocent. We can't assume that what the jury will decide. We can't. It's up to them. And whatever conclusion they come to, I have to say we've got to stand by, whether I'm right or wrong, or whether they agree with me or not. Aliens versus angry assailant. I know I went to the extreme there, Charlie. But I just I'm speaking on the fly here. I'm not reading from a script. I don't have my 80-page PowerPoint presentation to guide me through my thought process, Charlie. That's the problem. This afternoon we're having a live call in. Burner, use this number. Yes, we are. We will have. Well, I think once the jury starts deliberations, we'll open this up to a live call. I would like to hear actually from you guys once we do it. Don't call quite yet, but once we go to once deliberations start, I like to hear from people what their the most impactful testimony was on either side, whether it was for the prosecution or the defense. What really felt like this is the kicker. This does it. This solidifies me in my position, or maybe this moment made me stop and think and say, "Whoa, I've got to reconsider." And obviously, if you said, "Whoa, I need to reconsider," hopefully it was reconsider from innocent, because that's where we should all start, right? As KQD pointed out. The state did the best with what they had. I believe there was evidence at the scene, but SLED was incompetent. Let's see. Yes, squirrel. Some people have been sending me updates. I know there's a bank robbery in South Carolina going on right now. Well, not right now, but apparently they haven't caught him yet. That's in Greenville, South Carolina, a little ways away from where we are. Okay, chat's on screen now, so I've got that fixed. Let me catch up to where we are. They're so tired of this, they're going to go back there and say, guilty, let's go home. Age of the Lost, I do not want to see...
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
No, we're not. I do not want to see them just say, I want to get out of here. I'm just going to choose guilty because of that. I hope every single juror, whatever decision they make, can walk out of that courtroom and be confident that they made the decision that was right in their heart, and not rushed into anything and something they can stand by. And if that means that they're the one holdout and there's a hung jury, then that's the right decision. I think that's... We do need to trust the system a little bit in that way. That's the system we have. That's how we play this game.
His chance to talk to the jury.
Okay, yeah. Do we have a verdict time date pool going? Grit Grinder, always looking to make a buck on the process. Not just kidding. I don't know. We did a poll before, and I think we were close to like 48 hours was what a lot of people felt that it might be. Like 48 regular hours, so a couple days, and then end up in a hung jury. But Cafe Morgue says, exciting. I was thinking the state didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt, but I didn't know about the raincoat. The raincoat was a tough one for me. The state wanted the raincoat to be the smoking gun. Right, it's got the residue, the gunshot residue on it. It's the closest they have to a smoking gun. It was supposedly the guns were wrapped up in it, but they just didn't have the evidence to prove that, it was a smoking gun. And I think when you have evidence like that, you have to be able to tie it to scene. And I don't think they did. Now that isn't a problem for me. In my logic, it's not the raincoat that gets me to where I am, but. This very well could have been Grandpa's rain jacket that he took out duck hunting, or he wore around the farm when before he passed, he rode around the farm. Horse go unbeaten. And shot a few things in it. Maybe he wore it inside out. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Yes, there was some blue things. Yes, there's some question marks there. I don't have that question answered. I don't know if we'll ever have that question answered. But to me, it was not the smoking gun. I would be more concerned about the timeline of him showing up and not coming in, and how long he spent in the yard and where he stopped, and that to me is more suspicious than, oh, we dug in the closet and found this raincoat. I'm concerned that the makeup of this jury is combined with the fact that Alex Murdaugh's influences all over Hampton County will make them not want to convict. Loyalty till the end. I think we've got juror members who are really willing to put in the work. They've been there for 6 weeks. Okay. I think they're listening. They want to do their duty. I think they will make their own decision. I really do. How many movies have you seen where the DA didn't charge a suspect because they couldn't find the gun? I don't watch a lot of movies. That might be somebody else might be able to answer that a little better. Pam Jam says, like this analogy, Harpootlian is smokescreen machine and Meadows is homespun trial by fire. Had a power outage and internet outage here in Florida. Came back just in time. I got notice on my phone that some parts of Texas were having softball size hail. And that's good if you want to practice your softball game, but it's bad for everyone else. So yeah, that's dangerous. That's typically the type of weather we see in some really, really scary situations. Charlie, I'm not sure what they talk about the makeup of the jury. I'm not sure what it's referring to. I don't know the makeup. Honestly, I don't know how many males or females are on there. They've had so many changes now. I don't know what races represent which portion of the jury, and I don't think that really matters. I think
All rise. Court is now in session.
you guys keep doing that to me, and I keep checking. It's worse than the squirrel one. One thing I do know, says Weather Watch, I'm going to miss all the fun we've had with Poot. Who's saying that we're buffering? Buffer judge is back in court. Okay, let's see.
It matters solely for you, the jury, to determine. As jurors, then, it is your duty to determine the effect, the value, and the weight of the evidence presented during this trial.
Alex stole it as well.
As a trial judge, it is my responsibility to preside over the trial of the case, and I have the duty to rule upon or pass upon the admissibility of the evidence offered during the trial. You are to consider only the testimony which has been presented from this witness stand, along with other exhibits and evidence presented during the trial. Any other evidence or exhibits which have been made a part of the record you may consider, along with any stipulations made by counsel. I have the additional duty to charge you the law applicable to this case. And as the presiding judge, I am the sole judge of the law. It is your duty as jurors to accept and apply the law as I now stated to you, then to deliberate in an effort to reach your verdict. And finally, I charge you in this regard that you should not be concerned with what you think the law ought to be, but what I charge you that the law is. You are also the judges, the sole judges of the credibility, that is the believability of the witnesses who have testified and of the evidence offered. In considering credibility, you may take into consideration many things, such as the demeanor or manner of testifying, whether the witness had reason to be biased or prejudiced, and whether the testimony was contradicted on the one hand or supported and corroborated on the other hand. You may believe a small portion of a witness's testimony and disregard the larger, or vice versa. All these things you will consider, bearing in mind that you should give the defendant the benefit of any reasonable doubt. It becomes your duty as jurors to analyze and to evaluate the evidence and determine that evidence which convinces you of its truth. There are two types of evidence which are generally presented during a trial: direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. Direct evidence directly proves the existence of a fact and does not require deduction. Circumstantial evidence is proof of a chain of facts and circumstances indicating the existence of a fact. Crimes may be proven by direct evidence or circumstantial evidence. The law makes no distinction between the weight or value to be given either direct evidence or circumstantial evidence. However, to the extent the state relies on circumstantial evidence, the circumstances must be consistent with each other, and when taken together, point conclusively to the guilt of the accused beyond a reasonable doubt. If these circumstances merely portray the defendant's behavior as suspicious, the proof has failed. The state has the burden of proving the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This burden rests with the state, Regardless of whether the state relies on direct evidence, circumstantial evidence, or some combination of the two. The rules of evidence ordinarily do not permit witnesses to testify to opinions or conclusions. An exception to this rule exists for witnesses we call expert witnesses. An expert witness is a witness who, by education and experience, has become expert in some art, science, profession, or calling, and may state an opinion as to relevant and material matter in which the witness claims to be an expert, and may also state the reasons for the opinion. You should consider any expert opinion received in evidence, and like any other evidence, give it the weight you think it deserves. If you decide that the opinion of an expert is not based on sufficient education and experience, or if you conclude that the reasons given in support of the opinion are not sound, or that the opinion is outweighed by other evidence, you may then disregard the opinion entirely. An expert witness's testimony is to be given no greater weight than that of any other witness, simply because the witness is an expert. Further, you are not required to accept an expert's opinion, even though it is not contradicted. In regard to evidence of other crimes and evidence of alleged bad acts on other occasions, this evidence is limited to consideration by you as it relates to the motive of the defendant for the offenses charged in this case. This evidence cannot be used for any other purpose. This type of evidence must not be considered in any other fashion. In particular, the South Carolina rules of evidence provide that evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts is not admissible to prove the character of a person in order to show action in conformity therewith. Put another way, evidence of other crimes or bad acts cannot be used to show that the defendant is a bad person and therefore is more likely to have committed the crime for which he is accused. You may not consider evidence of other crimes and bad acts for this purpose or for any other purpose other than it as it relates to the motive of the defendant. In addition, while you may have heard that other crimes and bad acts of the defendant have resulted in other charges or indictments not before you, the fact that the defendant was arrested, charged, and indicted in these matters is not evidence and cannot be considered by you as evidence of guilt in this case, nor do these indictments create any presumption of guilt. As to any other pending charges, as is the case here, the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by the state in a court of law. The function of the jury is to determine whether a defendant is guilty or not guilty, and the consequences of a conviction in this or other pending matters is of no aid in determining whether the defendant committed the offense. You should not consider nor speculate about sentencing consequences for this or any other crimes, as those issues are not before you. The fact that the defendant was arrested, charged, and indicted in this case is not evidence and cannot be considered by you as evidence of guilt. nor does it create any presumption or inference of guilt. The indictments are simply the formal written instruments which contain the charges made against the defendant. The indictments are the formal documents by which this case is brought into this court. The defendant, Richard Alexander Murdaugh, has pled not guilty to the indictments, and that plea puts the burden on the state to prove the defendant guilty. A person charged with committing a criminal offense in South Carolina is never required to prove himself innocent. I charge you that it is an important rule of the law that the defendant in a criminal trial, no matter what the seriousness of the charge may be, will always be presumed to be innocent of the crime for which the indictment was issued, unless guilt has been proven by evidence satisfying you of that guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. This presumption of innocence does not end when you begin your deliberations, but it accompanies the defendant throughout the trial until you reach a verdict of guilt based on evidence satisfying you of that guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The presumption of innocence is like a robe of righteousness placed about the shoulders of the defendant, which remains with the defendant until it has been stripped from the defendant by evidence satisfying you of that guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The presumption of innocence is not a mere legal theory. It's not just a legal phrase. It is a substantial right to which every defendant is entitled, unless you, the jury, are satisfied from the evidence of the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. The state must prove the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So what is a reasonable doubt in the law? A reasonable doubt is a doubt which makes an honest, reasonable, sincere, and conscientious juror hesitate to act. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt must therefore be proof of such a convincing character that a reasonable person would not hesitate to rely and act upon it in the most important of his or her own affairs. Proof beyond the reasonable doubt can also be described as proof that leaves you firmly convinced of the guilt of the defendant. Now, there are very few things in this world that we know with absolute certainty. And in criminal cases, the law does not require proof that overcomes every possible doubt. If based on your consideration of the evidence, you are firmly convinced that the defendant is guilty of a crime charged, you must then find him guilty. If, on the other hand, you think there's a real possibility that he is not guilty, you must then give him the benefit of the doubt and find him not guilty. The indictments in this case allege 4 separate offenses against the defendant. The indictments are murder of Margaret Maggie Murdaugh, murder of Paul Murdaugh, possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime involving the murder of Margaret Maggie Murdaugh, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime involving the murder of Paul Murdaugh. Each indictment charges a separate and distinct offense. You must decide each indictment separately on the evidence and the law applicable to it, uninfluenced by your decision as to any other indictment. The defendant may be convicted or acquitted on any or all of the offenses charged. You will be asked to write a separate verdict of guilty or not guilty for each indictment. The defendant, Richard Alexander Murdaugh and Paul Murdaugh, with malice aforethought. Malice is hatred, ill will, or hostility towards another person. It is the intentional doing of a wrongful act without just cause or excuse, and with an intent to inflict an injury, or under the circumstances that the law will infer an evil intent. Malice aforethought does not require that malice exists for any particular time before the act is committed, but malice must exist in the mind of the defendant just before and at the time the act is committed. Therefore, there must be a combination of the previous evil intent and the act. Malice aforethought may be expressed or inferred. These terms, expressed and inferred, do not mean different kinds of malice, but merely the manner in which malice may be shown to exist. That is, either by direct evidence or by inference from the facts and circumstances which are proven. Express malice is shown when a person speaks words which express hatred or ill will for another, or when the person prepared beforehand to do the act which was later accomplished. For example, lying in wait for a person, or any other acts of preparation going to show that the deed was within the mind of the defendant would be expressed malice. Malice may be inferred from conduct showing a total disregard for human life. The defendant is also charged with possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. 2 counts. The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was in possession of a firearm during the commission of a violent crime. A firearm means any weapon which is designed to or may readily be converted to expel a projectile. In order to find the defendant guilty of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, you must first find the defendant guilty of committing a violent crime. Murder is a violent crime. The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the weapon furthered, advanced, or helped in the commission of the crime. While the arguments of counsel are a beneficial part of every trial, you should remember that the statements made by counsel are not evidence. In presenting their arguments, counsel often have referred to the evidence. However, you should base your verdict on the evidence as you remember it. If there are any conflicts between the recollection of counsel about the evidence and your own recollection, you should rely on your own understanding of the evidence. You must decide whether the state has met its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt based solely on the evidence presented in this courtroom. As you were instructed at the start of the trial, you're not permitted to conduct any independent research about this case. The facts of the case, the evidence presented in the case, or the people or organizations involved in any way in the case. Do not try to find any information from any source outside the courtroom, however reliable that source may seem to be. Do not look at dictionaries or other reference materials, search the internet, websites, or blogs, or use any other electronic tools to get information about this case or help you make a decision. You may not use computers, telephones, cell phones, smartphones, tablets, the internet, or other tools of technology with communication capabilities at any time during your deliberations, except only as provided by the court to review the digital evidence in this case. If your deliberations necessitate an overnight break, you may use these devices as necessary, but you may not use them to communicate with anyone about the case until the case is over. This means that you must not use phone calls, video calls, emails, text messages, instant messages, blogs, chat rooms, websites, or any social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit, and Discord, to send or receive any information about this case. This includes information about a party, a witness, an attorney, a court officer, or your fellow jurors. News accounts about the case, research on any topic raised, or even any topics you may think would be helpful in deciding the case, or any testimony presented by any witness you may not investigate. During your deliberations, do not read, listen to, or watch any news reports about this case. This includes anything that may be in the newspapers or on the internet, radio, or television. You must not consider anything you may have read or heard about the case outside of the courtroom, whether before or during the trial. Information on television, radio, internet, or from other sources may be wrong or incomplete. In our judicial system, it is important that you are not influenced by anything or anyone outside of this courtroom. If your deliberations necessitate an overnight break, even though you may use electronic devices as necessary for purposes unrelated to this trial, I must urge you to minimize your use of such devices. Many internet browsers, smartphone apps, and social media services, as well as traditional media like television and radio, will provide information and news that you do not seek, with little or no prompting. It is a strong possibility that information about this case may be thrust upon you every time you use an electronic device. You must therefore use these devices only as absolutely necessary. You must ignore and avoid uninvited information about this case. No matter for lady and members of the jury, I am required to charge you the law as I have done through these instructions now I'm being given, to help guide you to a just and lawful verdict. Whether some of these instructions apply will depend upon what you find to be the facts. The fact that I have instructed you on various subjects must not be considered as indicating an opinion of this court as to what you should find to be the facts or what your verdict should be. In conclusion, now you've been chosen and sworn to give the parties a fair and impartial trial. When you have done so, you will have completed your oath and no one will have a right to criticize your verdict. You must not be swayed or influenced by opinions or expressions of opinion you may have heard outside of the courtroom, but rather should base your verdict solely on the testimony of the sworn witnesses who took the stand, the exhibits received into evidence, and the law which I have stated. You should not be swayed by caprice, passion, prejudice, or improper sympathy for or against anyone. Remember, you have no friends to reward or enemies to punish, and all parties are entitled to a fair and impartial trial. It is your duty as jurors to consult with one another and to deliberate in an effort to reach an agreement. Each of you must decide this case for yourself, but only after impartial consideration of all of the evidence with your fellow jurors. In the course of your deliberations, do not hesitate to re-examine your own views and change your opinion if you become convinced it is erroneous. However, do not surrender your honest conviction as to the weight or effect of the evidence solely because of the opinion of your fellow jurors or for the mere purpose of returning a verdict. As I stated earlier, you are the judges of the facts. Your verdict must represent the considered judgment of each juror. In other words, your verdict must be unanimous. Now, you may have noticed that I have read these instructions. I do so to give you the law as accurately as possible. I will give you a copy of these instructions to have in the jury room. You may refer to these instructions to assist you in your deliberations. You must consider the instructions as a whole and not follow some and ignore others. And Madam Forelady, it will be your duty to preside over the deliberations of the jury. If during your deliberations you should desire to communicate with the court, please reduce your message or question to writing, signed by your foreperson and the foreperson only. Do not address any questions to anyone other than the court, and reduce it to writing and pass it to the bailiff, signed by the foreperson and the foreperson only. It will then be brought to my attention. I will then respond as promptly as possible, either in writing or by having you return to the courtroom. I caution you, however, with regard to any message or question you might send, that you should never state your or specify your numerical division at the time. Now, you've heard the testimony and you have heard the law. Whatever your verdict, Madam Forelady, you will indicate the verdict on the back of each indictment and then sign and date your verdict. You will have these 4 indictments, and on the back of each indictment is a place for verdict. And each one, as to each one, you'll write your verdict, either not guilty or guilty, then sign and date the verdict. You're not authorized to write the verdict until all of you have agreed on the verdict. Now, in just a minute, I will send you to the jury room. But prior to doing so, I want to ensure that from the 12 jurors we have remaining, if there is any reason that any one of you cannot continue deliberating, please let me know at this time. We have 13 jurors. Only 12 can deliberate. So out of the first 12 jurors now on the panel, if there are any reasons why you cannot continue, please let me know at this time before I excuse the alternate. A show of hands as to anyone who cannot continue deliberating. All jurors then seem to be in good shape and good to go. So when the jury leaves the courtroom, the alternate will remain. And the alternate is. I will send you to the jury room, all of you, except for the alternate. But do not begin deliberations until you have received a copy of this jury charge, the indictments, and the exhibits. Once you receive these things, that will be your signal to begin your deliberations. Once you begin deliberations, you will deliberate until you have reached a verdict, at which time you will knock on the door, advise the bailiff, and we will bring you out to receive your verdict. So if all of you will now go to the jury room except for the alternate, juror number 741, who will remain with us.
Hopefully that's not the first time juror 741 knew that they were the alternate. I'm starting the timer right now. I know they're not supposed to start deliberating until they get in the jury room and get those paperwork. But I don't know when else to start it. But verdict watch has begun, and this is what we're waiting for. One man's view. You should be able to text and chat. I don't know if you broke a rule or if Ahmad thought you broke a rule or if there was an accident. I don't know what happened there. I did fix that.
About excusing the alternate or not.
All right. What about it?
We've been going for 6 weeks, and if we could perhaps hold the alternate in the case there's a problem with the 12 and we have to insert the alternate during the deliberations.
Yes. The state concurs with that, Your Honor.
Of course, the statute says alternate must be excused once the jury begins deliberating. And that's always a risk that is taken. So with the consent of the parties, if that's what the parties want, Mr. Murdaugh.
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to hold the alternate in the event something happens to any other juror?
Yes, sir.
All right, very
Wow.
good.
This alternate has to sit
Madam,
here.
you will not be dismissed. You will remain as a member of the panel while the jurors are deliberating, but will need to be taken someplace separately from the panel to ensure that you do not talk with anyone or communicate with anyone, and we'll figure all that out in a few minutes. But,
Hannah, I see you.
Aside from that, if you all will review the exhibits with the court reporter and the bailiff, you can take the charge and the indictments in, and the jury may begin deliberating.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for reminding me on that. Any additions or exceptions to the charge?
Voluntary intoxication, Your Honor.
Yeah, voluntary intoxication was not charged. It was not raised. I cited with
Voluntary
the fact that it
intoxication.
was not raised as a defense and would not be appropriate to charge.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Why is everyone standing?
Oh, that's funny. I like that. We need to get that sound effect. Why is everyone standing?
So,
Anybody know a good joke?
Is there a separate room the alternate can go to for the time being? For the time being. That's for the time being.
I'm showing everyone's posts. There's just a lot of people in chat, and I think it Maybe slow to respond. Forced intoxication. I guess there could. You could be intoxicated against your will. Somebody drugs you or something. Okay, first thing first.
741, if you will follow court officer to a place.
A place. Just follow the court officer. And she's just going to walk across the screen and we're just going to see her? What? Oh, they've got the cart.
Your Honor, may I approach with Mr. Waters if something can come up that I think I need to bring to your attention?
Oh, man. Something's come up. Of course, we can't just begin. The alternate police, at least got her.
All
let
right,
her get her
you
eggs.
have been listening to the charge.
Yeah, we have been listening to these charges. We're just going to watch this. Let me keep this audio on. So we'll listen to Law and Crimes audio because they're keeping a feed up right now. Or actually, let's go over here to 3. Let's go here. We'll watch this one. I have multiple feeds up just to make sure we can maintain connection in case one drops or does something weird. Let's see, Jen, congratulations, or thank you, I should say. He's gifted 5 Recovery Addict memberships, and it looks like those memberships went to Branch Ranch, Rayleigh Creative Travel, Barbara Marie, Janet Sumrell, and Avery Myers. In addition to that, Jen CFC, welcome to the gallery. Good to have you as a member. Thank you so much for your support, both of you. Wonderful, and congratulations to the winners of the memberships. Okay, we're going to start the call-in section. I'm going to keep the audio going here as long as the feed is available. I'm not having any audio yet. Make sure I've got everything set up right. Yep. Seems to be on. Okay, so we're not having any audio of what's happening in the courtroom now. Just looking around, it looks like the discussion is still ongoing up at the bench. Mr. Waters and Harpootlian are up there. I'm surprised they didn't talk about sequestration. Apparently, the judge says if it's overnight, more than overnight, then you can use your phones. Just try not to look at anything. That seemed strange for me. Let's see here. 5 minutes in, still no verdict. So I guess I lost that bet. No, just kidding. Let's see who's winning. Ritz says Harpoon is winning. I'm not seeing any shaking of heads or vigorous nodding one way or the other. Yes, I did see Mary Beth. They did just sever the case. Chad's case got severed from the other one and continued because I believe some DNA evidence was discovered or reported on. Slightly off topic, but did he listen to the 911 call made by the housekeeper? Maggie sounds very calm for just seeing a person fall backwards off her front step. Strange. I have not listened to that call. Let's see, we were having a live call-in show. I don't know if the 4-4 works for everybody. Is that everyone? I know it's a U.S. number, and inside the U.S. you usually have to dial 1-801 and then the 7 digits. That's a burner phone number I picked up in another state. That's why the area code is that way. But, okay. Number 741, go to the broom closet. Stay in the closet until we let you out. I'm hoping the judge makes a comment here before we go to the show part, the call-in show part. While we're doing this, I think Nicole's in the house. I saw her come in briefly and say something. I'm going to go ahead and post this poll, and if I got it wrong, I'm just going to beg forgiveness and post another. But only answer if you think Alex is guilty. Did you watch Netflix and the HBO specials on the Murdaugh family? Only answer if you think that Alex is guilty. How much are burner phones? Really, burner phones, their value is the fact that you can throw them away. And so even though they're very cheap to acquire, they're really invaluable for you. So I really couldn't put a price on this, although mine was free, if that's any indicator. I use Google Voice as my burner phone. My husband woke me up the other night to see who was texting within Utah, and it says Dilly Pickles. I'm not in Utah. I'm in North Carolina, but I guess the area code might point that way.
Take them all in along with the. Put this on top. And yes, sir. take them all in along with the
Let's see what's
this
happening.
on top.
They've got the cart over there next to the jury exhibit. They're
And
going to
we-
load it up
Yes, sir.
with guns, apparently. Amber says, you need to specify if guilty, did you watch before or after your guilty decision? It's getting too hard to put all the parameters into this question. I've got limited characters to
We'll be in
use.
recess waiting for the verdict.
We're going to be in recess waiting for the verdict. Keep an eye on this, just whatever angle we have. And they're going to cut away from this one here in just a minute, too. There's Mr. Murdaugh. Okay. There we go. Okay. All righty. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and enable the burner phone. I'm going to turn off Do Not Disturb. I'd like to see what you guys think. First of all, we'll wrap up this poll here in just a minute. The question was, I forgot what the question was. It was very pertinent. Only answer if you think Alex is guilty. Did you watch Netflix and HBO specials on the Murdaugh family? Trying to just gauge to see how much that impacted your decision. I watched the Netflix series, but I'd already decided guilty, says Amber. Yeah, I had my decision made before watching Netflix doc. It was the burner phone number. Yeah, I got that. I'll tell you, that's funny. Okay, let's see if we get these calls working.
Call from
Weather Watch.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
It says Adam. The phone says Adam, and you said Weather Watch. You trying to get by the screener, the call screener? Is that what it is?
I guess I got caught. Yeah, it's me.
Adam, what's happening?
Hello. I didn't actually have. Well, I'm surprised I got in. And originally, I was going to jokingly not talk about the case. But so, what's the question? What am I supposed to be doing?
I was just wondering if there was a moment in this trial that stood out to you. Yeah, just.
Well, I missed a lot of the closing. I wanted to say hi to Myra.
All right.
But I missed a lot of the closing.
What was your favorite part? And the phone battery died. I think we just lost Adam. Well, he got the important part in. He said hi to Myra.
Yeah.
Oh, there. You're back.
So embarrassing. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think, did we ever get so Nicole was saying that, as far as reasonable doubt, that, we never had she thought a good spot for reasonable doubt was that we never it wasn't clear how he could have cleaned up so quickly. And I don't know, I guess, so I don't know what, so, I'd be curious, like, what are the sources of reasonable doubt that people would have? Because I think he did do it. I didn't watch the Netflix show, and I'm wondering, what, like, that would be the only thing that I've heard as far as, like, a plausible source of reasonable doubt, other than just the lack of, like, direct evidence, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a thought.
Okay. We'll have to put that out to other people, because I like you, I think he's guilty. So I don't have the reasonable doubt to answer, although I could speculate, but I would leave it open to other people who want to talk about that. I'll go ahead and leave that out there. Is there anyone else you wanted to shout out to, Adam, while you're on the phone here?
Oh, there's so many people. I don't want to, because I don't want to leave anyone out.
Okay.
So I just want to shout out to all chat, and thank you for listening to all my bumbling.
Oh, awesome.
And
awesome.
my complete lack of an actual response or contribution to the
Do you feel
discussion.
nervous? Do you feel nervous being on the show? Is it? Because I feel nervous every single day, so I like to share that with other people.
No, that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I that's probably the one thing that I like to make jokes and stuff, but I also, and I've thought about possibly streaming, but and I've done teaching.
Yeah.
And you get used to it a little bit. It helps, but it's still, when you're having trouble thinking of something, it's that much worse because you then you start thinking about everyone's listening, and you just get in your head, and
you get in a bad spot. I know.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you so much for calling in. I've got another call. We'll catch you later.
All right.
See you, man.
All right.
Bye.
Call from
Ready, Freddy, GG.
Hey, Ready, Freddy, GG. Are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing, R.A.?
Doing great. Thanks for calling in. Tell me a little bit. What are you thinking right now? We never thought we'd get here, first of all, right? It's like suddenly we're here.
I know. Now that it's ending, I have like butterflies in my stomach. Just feel a lot for the jury. I mean, the fact that they're not even to write down anything. Us in the chat here, we're privy to so much information and have had a lot of discussions. And I just feel nervous. My sister, Natural Empress, invited me to the group earlier in the month, and I've been watching at my desk.
I see the connection here. Natural Empress says, Ready is my sister. Awesome. That is wonderful. I appreciate the family connection there.
Yes, but I've been putting myself like in the seat of a juror, and it's not enough, in my opinion. I don't see where they can come back with not guilty. And my decision is guilty. That's what I'm seeing. But I can see where they can come back with a hung jury.
Yeah. Good take. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Ready, Freddy. Loved having you in chat as well. So thanks for sharing thoughts both in type and verbally. And thank your sister for me.
Thank you. Will do. Thanks.
Right.
My name's Camille, by the way. Hi,
Camille.
guys.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Right.
We'll catch you later. We'll see you in chat.
Later.
All right.
Bye.
Ivan says, I can't imagine what Alex is thinking. That anxiety must be crippling. I would not want to be in his place or the jury's place right now. We sit here and speculate. We have the comfort of not having to be in the situation of living with whatever happens next. But yeah, it's not an enviable position. I don't think he's having fun either. Okay. 6-volt bus gave a thumbs up. I'm going to turn the sounds back up. I'm going to turn them down when people are on the phone just because it throws them off.
6-volt bus just sent a super sticker with 3.
Thank you so much, 6-volt bus. And Lee with the 1 month chat says, thanks, Suzanne, for the membership gift. Wonderful, Lee. It's great to have you here with the light colored courthouse next to your name. Appreciate that.
I'm not a camel. Dead horse
As soon as I say the sounds are on, you guys jump on it. I would seriously need to be medicated if I were Alex. Do you think we'll have a verdict today?
Jurisdiction.
It's 4:00. It's 4:00 the jurors' time. It will take half an hour just for them to get the evidence brought into them. So if they have a verdict today, it's because they already knew what they were going to do. Apparently, I have not turned off the horse lights.
Court is now in session.
Court's not in session. If anyone else wants to call and give their opinion of the case, feel free to give the burner phone a call. The line is open right now.
Now let Murdaugh stall it.
No verdict today, in my opinion. Rowdy says, misjudged character of Alex. People who murder don't really get nervous about murder convictions. I wonder if they will go home at supper time. Randy, I did not hear. I was expecting something from the judge where he would at least address it. But it sounds like, the jurors don't have their phones with them now. They don't have them in the juror room. So saying, hey, if this does go overnight, don't use your phones or watch TV or anything. It sounds like he's let him go home. Which, they've gone 6 weeks. They've sort of proved themselves trustworthy. They've gone home every night during those 6 weeks. So maybe at this point, it's like, what's a couple more days? I don't know. It does just open the door. The temptation is there. Even if a juror's like, hey, it was a complete accident. I just had to run to the store and they were playing this over the the speakers, and I heard this type thing, and suddenly we've got a mistrial because not a mistrial. We've got one more. We've got the broom closet juror who's locked away in there until this is all over. If they don't go home, they'll have spoiled eggs. Grit grinder, great point. They all have eggs, although farm fresh can be sat at room temperature. They don't have to be refrigerated unless they're washed, is my understanding. Let's see. No verdict today, says girl in Texas. Let's see. I've got a lot on the burner phone as far as text messages, but I can't read and respond right now. Sam Bellissimo, give us a call in. I just saw your text come across saying you're willing to call. Go ahead. Now's a great time. If a juror walks into my store, they have to declare mistrial. I have Ari on the big screen most days, says Ivan. I think it's hilarious that Ivan, those who don't know, Ivan's a good friend of the channel. I'm not outing you if I say he runs a liquor store. It's funny that Recovery Addicts is playing on the screen in the liquor store. Let's see who we've got here.
Call from. To accept, press.
Hey, this is Recovery Addict. Sam, is that you? Can you hear me? Hello, Sam. I cannot hear you. I think it might be on your end because there was no name. If you give us a call back, maybe disconnect a Bluetooth or something. The microphone's not working quite well. So I normally don't hang up on people, but I can't hear anything. Let's see. Jack Connors did radio for 29 plus years. Works for Don Imus. Who is that? You did? That's impressive. Paul slapped her and split up. Hang on.
Call from.
Sam Bellissimo. Stuff that is not.
Hey, Sam, this is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Good, how are you? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Sounds great. Thanks for recalling.
All right, great.
What are you thinking, man?
Appreciate it. Well, it's a lot to gather. It's been a really long trial. I'm honestly more leaning towards guilty, especially with him lying and hiding a lot of things. Because usually, I mean, I'm 21, but like, kind of realized that like when you lie, and I don't really buy in with like panic and like the anxiety, feeling paranoid. Mm-hmm. So, and he even said like he was lying. He kept on lying because he kept on getting away with it. And I think that he was going to continue lying if he wasn't getting called out in like the video and stuff. So I think it's a little suspicious on that end. And,
okay.
Yeah,
Was there a specific point in the trial that sort of got you to that point where it's like, okay, now I'm convinced?
I think with with him saying like in the body cam, like the audio when we heard that he was saying he wasn't at the camp, and then when they got the Snapchat video, his voice was heard. Mm-hmm. And then when they talked about the financial stuff, I mean, in my opinion, he showed that he was lying even more to his the people that he was working with,
right,
and the people that he was working for. So that's at the moment I was like, he's kind of, he's lying and it's quite suspicious. And he said he wasn't at the kennels, pretty much like close to the murder. Mm-hmm. And, with all like his drug addiction and him on the stand saying he felt paranoid all the time, I wasn't really buying it. So that's why I think he's guilty.
All right. I appreciate it, Sam. It's Sam Bellissimo in chat, right? Wonderful. Yep. Tell me, what part of the country do you connect from?
I live 45 minutes east of Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Wonderful. So stay warm. Where it's a little bit warmer down here than where you're at. But Sam, thanks for much for being in chat. Thanks for being a true crime addict, and thanks for calling in.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you. All right, that frees up our one phone line. Yes, Don Imus. I know who Don Imus is, but I thought the message was somebody that I was trying to see if Jack worked for Don Imus. Is that maybe I said that wrong? But let's see. One man's view is may have been in YouTube jail from changing his name so many times today. Let's see.
Rando.
To accept.
Hey, Rando, this is Recovery Addict. Thanks for calling in. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, I can.
Awesome. What are you thinking now? We're in verdict watch already, right?
Well, I am eagerly awaiting the results. I'm thinking it's going to be a couple days, but there is so much evidence of deception and long-term lying that I think it's possible that he could have done it.
Yeah,
I think that he's responsible for it in some way, whether or not he was the trigger man or did it with a friend or paid cousin Eddie to do it with a buddy.
Yeah.
He's definitely involved.
Okay.
I would say guilty if I was on the jury.
All right. Sounds good.
All the evidence.
Have you ever had the opportunity to serve on the jury? Just curious.
No, I haven't. I want to.
We've got a couple people
like
in chat that are on notice right now of jury duty. And so it's interesting to see that we've got enough people that there's pretty much going to be somebody called to jury duty at any given time. But it's interesting. How were you able to watch most of the trial? Have you followed this sort of from the beginning, or?
I have watched every single one. Yeah, pretty much on your channel.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, totally. No, I like the community. I like the way that people get along and also don't get along. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that when people are making comments, that you can tell that they have been paying attention. It seems like recently there have been a few that have come along and they don't know details that everyone else has heard. And so it's kind of telling that they're coming in cold.
Yeah.
But
I'm one of those people occasionally that I look away from something and I can't hear what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. I have to see it and hear it at the same time. So I've been corrected many times. Yeah, I've been corrected many times as I get some of the little facts wrong, but it's great that way. Thank you very much, Rando. I appreciate you calling in. Everyone says you have a nice voice. Look forward to seeing you in chat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll be back.
All right. Thanks. We'll catch you
later. I turned it off to avoid the echo.
Excellent. All right. We'll see you, Rando.
Thanks. Nice to talk to you. Bye.
As well. Bye.
Call from. Okay. I've sent the caller to voicemail. Goodbye.
No. Sorry. Lori, I just missed your call. I apologize. I was getting hasty and I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Let's see. Not a Drama Llama says, I love hearing all of you call in. Well, Not a Drama Llama, it's your turn. So we look forward to hearing from you as well. I don't know. One man's view, we might have timed you out for something you said. I don't know, but no harm, no foul. We're all friends. I brought you back. I don't know what happened. I know I have accidentally timed someone out because I was clicking to block someone that needed it, that was bad, and I clicked on the wrong person. So I appreciate your patience with us and the mods as well. If we make a mistake, just do reach out on the burner phone, whatever you have to do to reach out to me, and we'll see if we can get it squared away. Odds are it's probably a mistake on our part. Let's see. I need some concrete destruction background sound effects as Pixel flips. I had plenty of that at my house. Let's see who we've got here. And it drops. I'm not sure why it dropped from my phone. It's over there. I need the number that ends in 68 to call back again. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, it transferred to my iPad and I couldn't answer that phone call from my iPad. Texts are going crazy. Missed a call from Lori, apparently. Hey, no problem. Nope, one man's view. I loved the name changes this morning. That was hilarious. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this right. Lori, we're going to get you on here.
Lori?
Hey, Lori, this is Recovery Addict. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. How are you, sir?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Okay, let me tell you. I do believe he committed the murders.
Okay.
But I don't believe they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
You know, I hear a lot of people saying, okay, he's a liar, he's a thief, therefore he committed the murders. I know a lot of liars. I know a lot of thieves.
Yeah.
But I don't believe with everything, even through the experts, just listening and closing my eyes and listening, it just created a lot of doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I just listened, and, you know, and they brought up a lot of things about the fraud. That to me doesn't prove murder.
Yeah.
It just created a lot of doubt in my mind.
Yeah, you've got a great point. Our system is that the state has to prove it, right? They have to prove it. And
Yeah,
so if you don't feel convinced that the state's proved it, even if you think he might be guilty,
yeah, I believe he's guilty, but believing guilty is not being convinced through the evidence.
Beyond that reasonable doubt, yeah.
That there's just that, even a titch of doubt, I could not convict if I was on that jury, and all it's going to do is take one.
Yeah,
all it's going to do is take one.
Debbie, you bring up a good point, because how much doubt each person needs before they hesitate to act is unique to that person. And so for you, if there was some doubt, then you couldn't move forward. Debbie, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate that you're sharing your opinion with us.
No, I'm Lori.
Lori?
I'm Lori.
Sorry, I thought it said Debbie on the phone. Sorry, Lori.
No, I'm Lori. It's okay, hon.
My apologies.
You take care.
We'll see you.
Blessings to your family.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. It did say Lori on the phone. I have no excuse. I just checked the screen, and I just missed one more call. Sorry about that. Give us a call back here. Keep trying. If you don't get through, you'll get through eventually. I believe it was Lori, Katrina, that was on the phone. That's the spelling that I have from her name on the burner phone. Smart Lori. Yes, Jack. I very, very well put. Thinking and suspicion is not enough to convict, right? And the judge said it himself. We've got voicemails coming through. I'm not going to be able to answer the voicemails. Unfortunately, right now it just takes too much to switch back and forth. We've given this enough time. We need a verdict.
Call from
7.
Hey, 7. This is Recovery Addict. Thanks for calling in. What are you thinking today?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. What are you thinking?
I think I'd be part of the hung jury, to be honest. I don't think I'd be able to make a decision with this one.
Okay.
I've watched a ton of trials following with you, and just prior to you, watching on like Law and Crime, and this is the one trial where I can't make a decision.
Yeah. I don't fault you. This is a tough trial with, circumstantial evidence is always the worst. You want something solid that you can stand on and feel confident on. And a lot of people have said just what you said, that this is one I couldn't decide on. I don't blame you. Have you ever served on jury duty before, 7?
Never. No, I would love to. I tell my girlfriend all the time, I'm like, after watching all these trials, she calls me an armchair lawyer. And I'm like, I think I do pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe you need to go to lawyer school, law school.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
I don't think so, but
or move to Virginia
love watching.
And just pass the bar. I think in Virginia you can pass the bar without going to law school. So save some
I just want to say I appreciate the channel, and I love watching. I follow on the mail route, and it's a lot better than watching Law and Crime. So.
Thanks so much, 7. I appreciate you. I love the comments in chat, and thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. See you later.
Mm-hmm. Bye. I did just miss a call from an international call, and I apologize for that. Started with 34. I'm not sure what area code the 34 is. Might have been Samantha. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll see if it comes back through again. I have to call in with my UK London accent. Maybe one day, says One Man View. Yeah, I would fall for it. I'm a sucker for accents, and I'm even the fake ones. Here we go. 3-1.
Call from.
Hey, this is a recovery addict. Who am I speaking with?
Susanna Oliveira from
Hello.
Amsterdam.
Susanna
Hi.
from Amsterdam?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, from Holland.
From Holland. Thank you so much for calling. What's your take on the trial so far?
Okay, I called yesterday
Mhm.
because I came across your show. I love it. Thanks for being there, and it's so easy and so cool and laughs, and I enjoy it very much so.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying you're an important part of this amazing channel, being in chat.
No, you
so thank
put your
you as
time
well.
there, so yeah, but you put your time there for us to enjoy. So it's both ways. Okay, I've been watching these. I've been following, and I think people forgot that he was a lawyer. He was a prosecutor, so everything he knew what to say at stand, at witness. He knew the words to say. He knew how to cry. He knew that when they say, "Oh, look at my phones, look at the data," he knew that because he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
He is a prosecutor before, so he knows the ins and outs.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that if they don't find the guns, however, it was a video somewhere out there a couple weeks ago I saw. And this guy was trying because they went to look for the farm, and he put these where the cameras up there.
The drone camera that he flew over the farm?
A drone, yeah. Thank you.
I remember that.
Yeah, a drone. Yeah, and then he said that we start looking back again on the video, and he went back to the house, and it was a Buster and someone else in the back of the door bringing two guns in the truck and filling it up with more stuff, and they took off.
Yeah.
And they were never seen again. Yeah. So I think Buster has something to do with it. Also, don't forget, Buster wanted to be. He's once a lawyer. He's a lawyer, or he's just become a lawyer.
Yeah.
He was
going to law school for a while.
Yes. So he had something to do to hide, and does a lot. Then you had a freaking airline, a plane. They had a plane there in that farm.
There used to be a runway right there on the way to the kennels.
Yes, exactly, with a plane. Yes.
I think that was from the previous property owner. I don't think I haven't heard.
No. Is this one? Is this one?
It was this.
Is this one? Is this one? Because they had also not just kennels, but he has also his cabin. It was Paul had like a cabin for him, a man cabin that he used to live there, whatever parties and he was violent. Also, Paul was violent.
We have heard some accusations of abuse with the girlfriend, and maybe even videos of that.
Yes, that's the Netflix is all about that the boat accident.
Yeah.
And that's how from that on bring this. But my thing is, he is a lawyer. He knew ins and outs to make as a doubt, a benefit of the doubt that where is the guns, okay? So he knew that. Second, Bust and his brother, and he's been a community that everybody's afraid of them,
right? From
one reason or another. They didn't want to know that they're gonna, if they're gonna bark the dog, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So might as well. A lot of people are afraid.
Yeah.
So that's why he's gonna get away. I hope he doesn't get away. That game is over for him.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot, but don't forget he was a lawyer, he was a prosecutor, and I was wondering when the defense came in and the prosecutor at the end, the last one, it was awesome. But he looked worried. Did you look at his face? He kind of was watching the guy. What's his name? I forgot his name. The prosecutor guy. He was worried.
Yeah.
He looked very serious. He keeps looking at him very much so. And I was wondering if did he work with him before in any case in court, because he said, "Okay, he looked worried."
Yeah.
If you go back to the images.
Well, Susanna,
So I think his game over.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. I appreciate you calling. Thanks for watching from Holland. I disagree on some of the things you brought up, but I appreciate you sharing your opinion. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch these together, and I love having different opinions to just challenge what I'm thinking. Thank you so much for calling. Love to see you in chat. So thank you so much.
Yes. Take care. Bye-bye. Be
Bye.
safe.
You too. Bye.
Call from, okay, I've sent the caller to voicemail. Goodbye.
I'm sorry. I know Mutt was trying to call in. A couple other people were trying to call in there. Go ahead and give me another try. It will work eventually. Let's see. Someone's saying too shy to call in. No one's too shy to call in. You can do it.
Gabrielle, Fiorangi.
Hello, Gabrielle. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing just fabulous. What are you thinking today?
Well, first of all, I want to say Susanna was hilarious when she said that because the older son was going to law school, that he was definitely involved. That I love lawyers, by the way. Don't get me wrong, right?
I think she has a healthy distrust of the family, is what I sense from Susanna. Appreciate her calling in, sharing the opinions. I do disagree on some things. I'm not sure I have all the facts, so I didn't want to say anything. But where do you stand on this trial?
Well, I feel like he's going to be either acquitted or there's going to be a hung jury, and it's not because I feel like he's innocent, but and forgive me, anybody who's from a small town, if I don't mean to insult you, but because he's from such a small town, so few people, I can't imagine who in that town has not been affected by the Murdaugh family. Some in positive ways, some in negative ways. So you're going to have a real mixed jury there. And I cannot believe that at least one of those jurors is not going to feel some sort of allegiance or some sort of fear or something, and they're not going to vote guilty, in my opinion. I mean, I could be completely wrong and shocked and happily surprised. Also, I know this sounds far-fetched, but it wouldn't be beyond me to think that someone would try to bribe one of those jurors. I mean, I know it's a whole different story, but
jury tampering.
We're talking about a very small town.
I might need to put on my tinfoil hat. Just kidding.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's some rumblings about that earlier on, that might be a threat. I think they've done a pretty good job, but we'll see. I mean, the stranger things have happened, right? We've had some weird events already. I mean, you never thought we'd have eggs in court, right? We had those.
There you go. But beyond that tampering, I just think it's such a small town. I mean, show me who has not been affected by this family in some way.
And they had such a hard time seating a jury because of that, because so many people knew the Murdaughs and knew of them, and it was. I'm surprised they didn't have a change of venue to get it a little further away. But
I 100% agree. By the way, I'm from California, Southern California, and it's been very cold here. It's 57 degrees right now, and that's very cold for us.
That's cold.
And I really do enjoy your show so much. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Gabrielle. We'll see you in chat. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, last name Fiorangi.
Fiorangi. Oh my goodness, I'll never remember that. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, Mutt, I missed you by about 3 seconds. Keep trying. We're going to get you. Let's see. Will the jury decide when they go home this evening, or will the judge tell them when to stop? Probably the judge will tell them when to stop, because he has to be there when they're done. And so he's going to be, let's see, we're trying to get connected here.
From?
It's Mutt.
Mutt.
Here we go. Mutt, I'm not sure if anyone has tried as many times as you have to connect, and you finally made it through.
I'm persistent, if nothing else.
Yep. How are you doing? How's Virginia?
Virginia is 65 and a little overcast. We had some rain this morning. But other than that, we're doing okay. But here's my question, because I know we got other people trying to call in, and I don't want to hog the time.
Oh, you're good.
how is it that this ever even made it to trial if they lied to the grand jury?
This is a great point. The problem is they made it to trial arguably because they lied to the grand jury, right? That's why we're here. Had they not had this evidence, there's a chance that it wouldn't have gotten this far, and maybe that's grounds for appeal. I don't know if they can appeal that far back, or if it just has to be something that happens during court. But it seems wrong for the system to be cheated like that, to cheat the system and get the result you want.
It just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense that it's even gotten this. Is our system that leads me to another question? Is our system that broken that we can now just lie to the grand jury and still have it go to trial and potentially leave a murderer or murderers running around in South Carolina?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really kind of scary, and by the way, I am still on the hung jury, and I did watch the HBO special, but
it didn't change your mind at all.
All of this,
yeah,
it's not changed my mind at all. No, and it has not changed my mind at all. I'm being told by Rowdy I'm incorrect, but it's all good.
There it is. Rowdy says you're incorrect.
Yes, I see it.
Well, Rowdy's going to have to call in. That's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah, that's okay, Rowdy. I can be incorrect. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
I've been wrong before myself.
Yeah, and I'll be wrong. And I'll probably look. It is 4:21 our time, and I'll probably be wrong before midnight again.
Yes, I'm wrong several times a day. So
yeah, at least I'm wrong at least several times a day. But no, I really wanted to ask the question about how we've even gotten this far about the grand jury.
It's frustrating.
So,
I don't know what the process is to remedy a situation like this where we now have testimony that there's been lies to the grand jury. I don't know how they fix that. I think at the minimum, the people who lied to the grand jury, if they've admitted Mr. Owens, it sounds like, admitted to knowingly lie to the grand jury, there has to be some sort of ramifications for him personally. Some charges. You'd think, if you can lie to the grand jury, that's like the top of the top,
you're not
right?
going to lie to the judge
Yeah.
under oath. I mean, you have to be sworn in under oath in order to go before the grand jury.
Yes, and
so you're perjuring yourself from the get-go.
Yeah, so maybe we should just discount all his testimony because he's proven to be a liar. Maybe that's the remedy for this. But at the same time,
I enjoy weather, so I'm wrong 24/7 weather-wise. Okay.
Yep. That's
Sorry,
awesome.
That struck me as funny.
I see.
I appreciate your time, Scott, and I appreciate. Let me say this publicly: I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to restream you. I have had some of my people come over here who are now members over here, and they bounce back and forth between us. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you, because
it's awesome.
Is definitely.
You reached out to me and asked, and I said, sure, of course. So I love what you do over there. Wonderful. Thanks for being here as well. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your persistence trying to get through.
No worries.
All right.
We'll
see you.
I appreciate you. Take care.
You too. Bye. All right. As if on cue. Let's see who we
Call
got.
from.
Hello, this is Recovery Addict. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is the last poet from Arkansas.
Hey, how's it going, poet?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What's your thoughts today as we go into this verdict watch?
Well, I'm hopeful that the truth will come out.
Okay. How are you leaning as far as
that? I'm leaning toward guilty. There's just too much. And the lie that he told about not being there, to me, that's damning,
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it's been a great time watching it. I've thrown myself completely off my schedule.
You change your schedule so you can watch the live stream. That is awesome.
Yeah. Usually I sleep from about noon till about 9 o'clock at night. And, you know, you have afternoons on here.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but I'm one of the original 13 recovery addicts.
Yes. You've been here since the get-go.
You and I went through DB together.
Yeah, those were fun times. Those were fun times. Man.
Yeah, it's been great, and you're a great broadcaster, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate your voice. I appreciate the way you do things. You're doing a great job, and I would just want to thank you and all the other recovery addicts that hang with us.
You're getting a lot of props in chat yourself. People who like the voice and let's say you're a poet as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, last
And I will write a poem about this and call you back at some point and we'll broadcast it.
Wonderful. Sounds great.
Right.
Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
All right.
We'll see
Take it easy, brother.
You too. Bye. Awesome. Last Poet's been here, like you said, from the get-go with DB when I first started streaming. Let's see. Please release Rowdy back into general population. We've had an accidental arrest, a false imprisonment. Let me see if I can remedy this in just a second here. Hold tight here. We're going to find... I need to go through the roster of who's in jail right now. See if we can answer the phone while I'm doing that at the same time.
Ivan Victor.
Hey, I hesitated over the send to voicemail button for just a moment, Ivan. No, just kidding. Welcome, Ivan. So good to have you on.
Hello, Mr. Recovery Addict. How are we doing?
We're doing fantastic. How are you? It's so good to hear your voice.
Well, yes, sir. I have been arguing with vendors. I have been screaming at veterinarians. It has been one heck of an afternoon.
Oh, man. Wow. Well, what are you thinking now that you've got all that out of your system? Are you now ready to calmly address the situation in court, or are you all riled up and ready to do some damage?
I refuse to do anything calmly. It is not in my nature, mister. But this is where I stand. I feel like it was funny when Griffin posted his Scottish, interpretation of the law, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that was an interesting caveat that he did because I kind of thought he was placating to the jury in that remark where he said, "Look, I realize there might be a lot of a lot of things against my client here, but have they actually proved the charges at hand?"
Right.
And I thought it was clever of him. I thought it was a good strategic move. I thought it was I thought it was brilliant, actually, to bring that caveat into it. I'm surprised he didn't object because I thought Waters would stand up and scream, "This is not Scotland,"
I have not figured out how Waters and Harpootlian have not made the objections that they should have at the times they should have. It's been like the opposite.
It's been bizarre. I think it's been because the judge has been so hardline on his objections. I think he just says, "I will not," I don't know. This judge I can't get a read on him. I honestly, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel as if, and forgive me for coming across crass, but I know that he lost his child just before this trial.
Yeah, he did.
And I honestly believe, like, as somebody who has lost a child, I know what that did to our family. And I honestly believe that brings too much upon a man, okay? Yeah. It just does. I just don't know how you can separate that pain and that destruction and that anguish from such a serious, important ordeal. Mm-hmm. And I just feel as if that tragedy in his life has sort of slanted his opinion towards a dead child. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base there. I guess I just don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's an interesting look at it to see. I think it was like a month before his son the judge's son passed away before this trial began, and I would hope that that doesn't slant how his decision goes, and he's like you're sort of saying that he paints Alec with the light like, I lost my son and you destroyed yours,
and you
type
took
thing.
Yours. Right. Yeah, I lost mine and you stole yours. Right. Like, and how could that not be a natural reaction? Like, I have to admit, as somebody who has always just sort of stayed away from like the abortion debate, once I lost a child, that slanted my view towards that topic. Like, so how could this not slant his view towards this topic is my sort of opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a stronger man than me. I don't know. But anyway, I guess this is where I stand, is that this is what gets me. I'm glad that Griffin played that kennel video, because like I thought like he might stay away from it because that's the damning evidence, right? But by him playing that video and saying, do we really believe that this man, this father, this husband who was acting so normal 5 minutes prior, 4 or 5 minutes later from this video, when he's joking about the dogs and grabbing chickens out of its mouth, we'd really think 5 minutes later he just executes his whole family? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
it requires a weird thought process to get there, I admit. But I hear you.
What I mean? Like,
I've come to the opposite conclusion, right? I've sort of made peace with my decision here, and you're making me second guess stuff. That is one of the hardest things for me to accept.
Like, here we are playing with the dogs. Here we are, like, it's a chicken. Like, here we are talking about, like, he knows his son's recording. It's not like his son's recording clandestine. Like, he knows that video is there. Like, he sees his son chasing the dog around. And then 5 minutes later, he blows his head off. Like, holy smokes. Like, and believe me, I've been in prison with the worst of the worst. I know that the people you would never suspect could do the most horrible things. So I get it. But it's not a matter of me debating whether or not he did it. It's me having a beef with the timeline. That's my whole point. I do not subscribe to phones going dead equals humans going dead. I do not subscribe to that. Anything could have happened. The dog could have got another bird. They could have gave him a bath. They could have gotten muddy. They could have gotten dirty. Anything could have happened to stop that phone activity. I don't know.
Well, Ivan, I will tell you, I appreciate your perspective from life, from your experiences, and what you bring to this channel. I love it. Sometimes you got a little edge to you, and I like that as well because you keep it within bounds. You're very respectful, and I sincerely appreciate that.
Hey, I know that I will not agree with every addict in the chat, but I will never attack their character and never attack their person as a whole. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, but I respect you and the channel so much. It has become my YouTube home, and it's on the background 5 days a week. So thank you.
Thank you. I will tell you that I was working on your hoodie over lunch. I'm trying to get this put together. I made an entirely new listing, and it's failing still. So I'm dying. I'm going to get this figured out. We're going to get you a hoodie. So thank you very much.
I have faith in you, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling in, Ivan. Appreciate you.
All right. Ta-ta for now.
See you. Bye. All right. I love Ivan. I love his perspective. We don't always agree, but he is the most amazing, genuine guy you've ever run across. I think we've got Josh calling in here.
Call from.
This is Josh.
Hey, Josh. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Recovery Addict. How you doing? This is Josh from Portland, Oregon.
Hey, how is Portland today?
Oh, it's moderate. We've had some snow, but it's doing okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what are you thinking? As we go in vertical watch here?
Boy, oh boy, I've been flipping not only your channel but Emily's and everybody else's, and I'm thinking he's not guilty. He's responsible for something, but not guilty. And the HBO Netflix doc didn't really do it for me, but the HBO, there's something going on with the boat accident, and Maggie getting in, the girl that died, Paul's girlfriend, she got in their parents' truck and said some things, and there's something going on, and and the state didn't prove it.
Yeah,
the state didn't prove it. So
I have to admit,
I just want to say, hey.
Yeah, I'm big on that. If the state didn't prove it, I want them to be found not guilty. I think personally, for me, they proved it for me. Maybe my threshold bar is too low. But for me, I lean the other direction. But thank you very much, Josh, for that. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Good to see you in chat.
And hi to chat. Sorry, I'm not there. I'm working all day. So
no, it's
I
great.
Try to say hey in there.
Somebody has to earn the money.
Take care.
Thanks, Josh. Have a good one.
Take care, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Call from.
Andre.
Hey, Andre. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Hey, buddy. Nice to be back.
It's good to have you.
You totally butchered my name this morning. So
What did
when
I
you
call
want
you?
to say my name, I don't know. You call me everything except Andre.
Spell it for
when
me.
everyone has to think of my name or read it, it's Andrei. So I'm just going to give you a hint. When you try to say my name, just think of Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Okay. A-N-D.
Yes, he's
R-E-I.
R-E-I.
An I on the end.
So Andre the Giant. He's a famous wrestler, so that's why I usually tell people to remember him when they try to say my name. My decision hasn't changed. It is a hung jury or not guilty. There is no evidence he did it. All the evidence that came in is financial crimes.
Yeah.
And do you know how much time he'll get for financial crimes?
Long time. Life.
Like 20, 30, what?
There are 99 charges that you have a maximum penalty of life in prison without parole, each of them. I don't know if he'll get the maximum charge on every one, but assuming he gets found guilty on each charge, which it sounds like, we've listened to all the evidence, it sounds like there's a lot of evidence.
You guys
could be his whole life.
Yeah. Yeah, your laws there are really strict. Like this morning in Canada, in Moncton, Nova Scotia area, a guy that killed 3 cops a couple of years ago was sentenced to 75 years without parole, right? And the Supreme Court came down and said, "Oh, it's too harsh." So now he can get out after 25 years, only to apply for parole.
Wow!
And the only way we can keep somebody in Canada in life is like, do you remember Paul Bernardo? I'm not sure if you heard of him.
Mm-mm.
He killed 2 girls and his I believe his sister or stepsister. They literally, he's the only one of the only in Canada is to stay. You have to be designated a dangerous offender. Those people never get out of prison. But it's crazy to me that you kill 3 cops, 25 years. That's it.
Wow. It's hard not to look at that and divide that 25 by 3 and say that's what each officer's life was worth type thing.
Yeah, but we live in Canada where literally our liberal government chooses and picks and puts people who they want up there. And our country has gone from one of the wealthiest countries to we're in debt over our heads. But that's our country. We've got to take it as it is.
Andre, I won't begin to speculate on Canadian politics. I'm way out of my realm on that one. And obviously you have more experience than I do.
you think you guys had problems with the Russians? If just look up Canadian and Chinese interference, and our country just exploded 2 weeks ago because our liberal government was told about the Chinese trying to interfere in our election, and Trudeau just said, "Oh, we can't say nothing about Chinese interfering in our country because we're racist."
All right, Andre, thank you so much for calling. I have to say, you're broaching into the politics section. I've got to probably send you some pickles or something. Pickles, not politics.
I enjoy your show. Keep up the great work.
I will try to get
really
your
enjoy
name
watching
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Andre. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem. Bye-bye.
Bye. Appreciate Andre calling in. Love the Canadian accent as well. Love all the accents. I'm missing a couple calls. Give me just one more chance here. We've got a couple people who are trying to get through. It's free right now, but of course you'll hear this in a couple seconds. Let's see. Yeah, well, we're not going to go down the politics side. We're tried to steer him back. He's very excited. But Andre, thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate you.
Call from
Not a Drama Llama.
Hello, Not a Drama Llama. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I don't know if you
You're nervous. I'm nervous. I've never spoken to you on the phone before. I'm like, I'm not just kidding. How are you doing?
You called me out, and I had to keep trying.
I'm doing good. I just kind of, I think I might have a little different view than a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but I followed this case since the beginning. I watched all the things, and 30 days ago, I would have been like, this guy is super guilty. Mm-hmm. And the prosecution, as days went on, there wasn't the evidence that I thought there would be, or the testing. I mean, I was expecting the investigation to be so thorough. And as the days went by, I started leaning more to not guilty. The prosecution was convincing me not guilty.
Oh, wow. They did not do their job very well, did they?
No, my mind is just as blown by that revelation. But I think it's going to be a hung jury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, you called me out.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad you responded and called in. Not a Drama Llama. It's good to have you on the phone as well as in chat. You're an important part of this community, and love seeing the comments and all the chat that you bring. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. You're wonderful, and the chat, I love them. I love you guys every day. You're so amazing. So
thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Call from. Okay, I sent the caller to voicemail.
No,
Goodbye.
that was Maureen. We just missed Maureen. Denise is also trying to get through. Keep trying. It's my secretary's fault. It's my secretary right here that's that's making problems. It looks like Denise made it through first. We'll give her a
call from
Denise.
There we go. Hey, Denise. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here on the phone with you.
Yeah, me too. I've been sitting at work going, hurry up, clock, hurry up. I want to talk. I want to call Scott.
Well, you've got the floor. Tell me what's on your mind.
So, I think he's guilty as sin.
Okay.
However, based on the evidence and the way trial went, I think it's going to be a hung jury. I have not watched the Netflix show. I have not watched anything on HBO. I plan to, but I wanted, like you, to be in that juror's seat as best I could be. So I didn't, and this is the first trial I've done that with. Every other trial in the past that I've watched, I've always just tried to get as much information as I could going in, but I did not do that with this.
So have you ever been in the jury seat before? Is this something?
No.
Have you been a juror?
No, and it's driving me crazy.
So what do you think? I'm asking you. You haven't been a juror before, but what do you think about the jury not being able to take notes during this trial? Are you a fan of that?
No, not at all. No, not a fan at all. I think that's detrimental to a jury, honestly, not being able to write down their own thoughts and, or make a note that, hey, so-and-so said this, I want to bring this up, so that you remember it 6 weeks down the line.
Yeah. I don't have a memory that would allow me to just, put everything together off that. I know some of you in chat, some of you are absolutely amazing and just you're able to recall the facts and the times. That's not me. My brain does not work that way.
That's those youngsters.
Yep. That maybe a long time ago I could have done that, but now there's just too much fuddled brains up there. Maybe I hit my head a few too many times. I don't know. But thank you, Denise. I appreciate you calling in. Where do you call in from? What part of the country are you in?
I am in Idaho. I'm in the Boise area.
All right. I've visited that area quite a bit. Mountain Home area.
We're gearing up for Vallow Daybell. So
yes, and they just had news in that case today with the judge splitting the cases up and continuing Chad's case.
Separating the trial.
Yeah. So maybe one of them will be televised now. Maybe.
I'm sure Chad's will, because he wants cameras. He wants it televised.
Yeah.
It's Lori that doesn't want anything televised. It's her and her attorneys.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a win for us then, even though it would be fun to have those two together. It might be a win for us as we watch.
It's going to be so expensive to have them split up like this, but
it's twice the work.
I think in the long run it's going to be better.
We do need a fair outcome, and if there's evidence that points that they're not really in the same boat as suspects, then this is the right thing to do. So
right.
Awesome. Yep. Denise, thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. Stay warm there in Idaho. We'll see you in chat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 41 right now, but we are expecting a little bit of snow tonight. So I'm excited.
Good. Enjoy the snow. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you, Denise. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much, MCAT, for the super chat donation for the switchboard phone with blinky lights. Who was it that said I need to have a switchboard phone with blinky lights and all the cables, like the old time plug it in type thing? Let's see. Justice Johnny, I see he's out there. I see several of you are trying to call in.
Crispy Toast.
Crispy Toast. Hello, Crispy Toast. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Oh, hey, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for trying over and over until you got through. I've got my voicemails full, I think. But
I used to be on the radio in the 80s, so I know how that works.
Oh, man. Bless you. That I don't think I could do that, honestly. I think that would be too hard, hitting the post always and having all the... Yeah, that's...
Oh, well,
I can do it with no schedule.
I'm so far back now that, I mean, when I was doing it was, tubes and switches and dials. So, yeah, the technology's kind of left me behind on that one.
Yeah, but the sound with those tube amps are so amazing.
Oh, I know. I used to sound just so great.
Yep.
But no, I've been following, I'm a friend of Kelly Harper, you know that name. Yes. And she got me to watching, and it's pretty fascinating. Watch the Jensen case. I'm not a camel. Yes. And, he of course was guilty of sin as well. But no, as far as Alec Murdaugh goes, I think he's a textbook family annihilator. I mean, I heard the facts of the case and that he only had, there's only like 15, 20 minutes in there at best.
Yeah.
And, some 5'2" cartel person, parachutes in, grabs a couple of guns, shoots the wife and son, and then gets airlifted out? Come on.
Yeah, I'm like you. I had a hard time finding a reasonable connection to any of the possibilities that were suggested, and even ones that I could think of. It was hard for me to get by the natural, reasonable explanation that my mind went to of Alex's guilt. And that's why I leaned on the guilty side. I know my threshold's a little lower than some people. You wouldn't want me on your jury, apparently, if you were innocent.
So. Now, I have actually been on a jury. Oh, yeah. Everybody else was calling in saying no. I'm like, well, I guess I better call in. Yeah. I've been on one.
What type? You don't have to say information if
you
don't want to. But
it was
it serious crime?
It was like, it was like 1986. Yeah. And I was only about 24 years old. And it was a young man who had committed a felony. That's all they would tell us at first. Come to find out it was armed burglary, and he had injured the old man who he had done a B&E on the home. But, because the couple was actually inside when he went in. I didn't know that part while I was on the jury. The only part that we were doing is that they threw it to a jury on an escape charge. And basically what he did was he was on his way to a halfway house, and the probation officer who was taking him from to a halfway house about 50 miles away, he stopped to get gas, and the kid said, well, can I go in and buy a pop? The probation officer says, sure. And what does the kid do? He just goes right out the back door and he's gone. Well, so we were deciding, did he commit escape? I'm like, well, yeah.
That seems like an easier conclusion to come to.
It really was, but though the defense did try to make everybody feel sorry for him, and there were people in the jury room who did feel sorry for him. Yeah, by the way, never sit at the head of the table, because when you say, oh, we got to pick a head juror, they always look at you. That's what I did.
Natural.
Yeah, I ended up even head juror, but yeah, I know. 24 years old. I'm like, do you know all of you are older than me? But anyway, but what the kid did was we sent him to prison for like 15 years, though.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cut and dried as far as I was concerned. Maybe they didn't want me on the jury. But no, I do think that Alex Murdaugh is very guilty. Yeah, right. I think he's the only one who had the motive, the opportunity. So many family annihilators, they take, the ruination of their family and either, they're better off dead, especially in the case of Paul. Paul's just going to keep spiraling. He might as well be dead. I mean, or like Kelly Harper said, her ex-husband shot his second wife because she wouldn't go get him a six-pack.
Yeah, some people.
Sometimes you don't need much of a reason, especially with addicts. Yep.
I don't
so
know.
anyhow,
I'm not with you on all your conclusions,
addicts,
but yeah.
Well,
but go
it's
ahead.
okay.
No, go ahead.
It's okay though. That's what makes the world great.
It is. Thank you for sharing your opinion. I appreciate it, Crispy Toast.
Absolutely,
Thank you
I
so
enjoy your
much.
channel. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you.
Thanks. Bye now.
I just had Ready Freddy GG gift 5 memberships for Picky, Dublin Girl, Angie P, Viry, and Local Shopkeeper. I love the name. Congratulations on winning, and thank you very much, Ready Freddy GG, for that. Maureen, I see you're trying to get through still. Keep trying. One of these times we'll get you. I appreciate that. As I said, I don't agree with everyone who calls in, but at the same time, I appreciate you being willing to express your opinion, and I'll let you do that as long as we can do that in a respectful way. And we'll try to steer clear of the politics as much as possible in the process. Mo says, well, I tried, but this is just how popular Scott is and how awesome this group is. Mo, sorry about that. Why the name Recovery Addict? I actually chose the name when I started this channel as a metal detecting channel because I was addicted to recovering artifacts from the ground.
To accept.
Hey, this is Recovery Addicts. Who am I speaking with?
This is Janie.
Hey, Jenny. Is it Janine?
Janie.
Jenny. How are you doing, Jenny?
Fine. How about you?
I am doing just great. What are you thinking about this trial today?
I believe he's guilty.
All right.
For sure. And kudos to the prosecution. Yeah.
It was an open shut case for you? Or would that take a while to get there?
What I'm watching, is that not live?
Yeah, it's live. It's a couple seconds behind. Just because there's a delay, there's a buffer on YouTube's side. So like right now I'm going to click on Ivan's message and it should pull up on the screen.
I see what you're doing now. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a couple seconds of delay for YouTube to buffer and then feed the video back out. But did you watch any of the like the HBO special or the Netflix documentary or TV show about the Murdaugh family?
No, I haven't watched it. I don't have Netflix, and I can't find another location to watch it. Is there one? I don't know.
I think it's only on Netflix. That's my understanding. But what point for you made the decision that he was guilty? Where did you say, okay, he's guilty here?
When I saw Maggie's sister up there, what was her name? I saw her sister up there, and when she said that Alex told her that it had to be somebody that really planned it well, that was it for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, the look on her face, and I mean, just throughout the trial, I mean, the prosecution has proved it in my book, because this is not a physical evidence hearing, or trial. This is circumstantial, and I think a lot of people forget about that. We have the DNA off of the steering wheel, which I didn't hear that much about,
right.
And there was the OnStar results, and of course, later the progress of that came out while court was in session.
Mm-hmm.
The phone pings. And I just think every state and city needs a Judge Newman for a judge and a Sheriff Grady.
Sheriff Grady's a hoot.
And
he gets sued a lot. You know that? Sheriff Grady gets sued a lot for what he does. And so I'm not sure if the county likes him, because sometimes he loses. but no,
I love his boldness, and everybody needs the attorney, Creighton Waters.
Yeah.
I just think prosecution did a great job.
Yeah. Well,
defense, I mean, you can tell they were just, at the end there at the closing arguments. I mean, you could tell him flipping through his notes, Jim. He just, he had to revise everything, because the opening arguments was a lot different than what, the ending was. So he had to revise all that because of his lie.
Right.
And I mean, he's the only one could have done it. What does people need to see? A camera of him doing it? I mean, it's just not that way in circumstantial. And I mean, if we don't get him now, I mean, the financial crimes are going to get him. So why not do it now and save the state some money? And, he's done enough, that's the way I feel.
Well, I'm a big fan of convict for the right crime. So if he was not guilty of murder, I wouldn't want to put away for that. If he is guilty of financial crimes, let's convict him on that. So I want it to be a just conclusion. But appreciate you calling in and sharing your opinion. Thank you so much for doing that. All right.
Okay. I appreciate you too. Thank you for what you do.
Hey, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. Let's see. I like her voice too. I would listen to a story she was telling me. Okay, I think we've got a little lull in the phone calls. They've calmed down just a little bit. Maureen, try again. You're going to get through eventually. Not enough evidence, says Ola. Back to the left says, Recovery Addict Scott, have you seen the 3D modeling recreation of the murders? According to the state's case, play it. It's only a couple minutes. I did. We actually, 2 days ago, back to the left, we played that. That's the one where it's sort of like a gray model and the computer things are in blue and they move and that shows the shots and the angles. It was in one case, I mean, it's a scenario that would fit with the evidence. I'll say that. I don't know if it's the right
Call
thing.
From
La 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 lee.
Are you saying that all this time I've been saying your name wrong? La 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 lay.
Oh no, you used to say it right, but hey, whatever.
La 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 lee.
Whatever you like.
I'm not sure if I can retrain my brain path. I mean, those synapses have formed this circuit that it's going to be la 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 lay forever. But
How funny. Yeah, it's kind of the French version, I guess.
yeah,
Or the Spanish version.
yeah. Well,
How are you? Am I on the air?
You are on the air live. Yes, you are. What are your
that's
thoughts?
Great. Well, I was firmly in the camp of guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be in the jury room because Jim opened my mind a little bit with some of his argument, and I thought, I'd love to talk about that. I'm still pretty firm on the guilty side because I think someone else said it, lying about the fact that you were not there for so long, and then getting on the stand and saying that coming up with his lie about why he lied, to me is very damning. Yeah. And then the whole timeline, I don't see how, I just can't see any other viable solution besides him doing it. But, there was some, Jim, I really enjoyed Jim's argument. I think the reason I would want to be in the jury box is just to test that, to see, was it smoke and mirrors, or is there really something that I should be paying attention to that I'm missing? I'm kind of on the fence of it was smoke and mirrors, but I would definitely be willing to listen to others to hear what they have to say to see if there was something that I was missing.
Yeah. That would be interesting. The fly on the wall. I don't necessarily want to be one of the jurors, but I would like to hear what they're saying and what they're talking about, for sure.
Great.
I have to ask you, going back to your name, what's the significance? Where did you get the name from? It's one of my favorite names to say.
It's very random. I watch these YouTube videos in what's called Oral World. You don't want to know. It's ridiculous. But anyway, one of the crazy characters on there was actually talking about someone lying, and coincidentally. And when he was talking about this person lying, he said, "Yeah, you're saying this, you're saying that, la la la, la la lee," and I thought, that's pretty cool. That's a cool name. And someone else in the community made a song out of it at the same time, and so now I have my own song. So
That is
I
awesome.
can't change it.
How many people can say they have their own song for their name? I sure don't. Maybe I should have somebody write me one. Well, la 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 lee. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate you sharing your opinion, and thank you so much for being in chat. Just making it a fun place for everybody.
Absolutely. Love your show, and I'm so glad that I get an opportunity to listen in while I work these days. So thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in chat.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Love that. I can't believe I'm learning so many names that I'm mispronouncing. It just makes me feel awful because every morning when we do roll call, I'm calling you the wrong name. I wonder how many more I'm completely butchering. Sorry about that. State's timeline to me, says Angie, State's timeline to me does not seem possible in short time and then be able to clean up the scene perfectly. Never. Something is always missed. It does sort of seem like a perfect crime sort of scenario, right? Assuming like I do, where I say that he's guilty, I have to accept that he did a very, very good job of the cleanup or got very, very lucky. One of the two has to be the case. Johnny Strebler says, how can I call in? The burner phone number, it says text, but you can call that. Right now I've got the do not disturb turned off. So you can text or you can phone call this burner phone number. That is a U.S. number. So you have to, dial the right area code appropriately to connect that way. But you can call in that way. Let's see. Paul B. Tampa.
Thanks, Raw, for covering this case.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat, Paul. Appreciate you being here. Love that you're supporting the channel and just making this an awesome place for everybody. Thank you. Johnny called the burner phone. That's the way to do it. I get yours right, says Gordon. That's the easy name to do. I can do Gordon.
Call from
Carl herself.
Carl, this is Recovery Addict. How are you doing, Carl?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What are you thinking now that we get to be sitting here in Verdict Watch?
I'm sitting here thinking that I'm 80-20 on the same side as you're on.
Okay.
But if I was in the room, I would love to be in there just to see if they could swing me to what is reasonable doubt. 80-20 to me, he's.
So what you're saying, you've got 20% doubt, basically. You've got a room where you could be convinced.
And is that reason correct? And is that reasonable doubt? And the thing I'm not getting, and I don't know, maybe I misinterpreted this, but as he said, he went and checked for their pulse or whatever he did. But when the police got there, he had not a speck of blood or a speck of anything. He would have had that something on his feet, anything, and there was nothing. So that's the one thing in my brain that I just can't get rid of.
Yeah. And it was difficult thinking of that time, that part of the timeline when Alex was up on the stand, testifying in his own defense. That for me was difficult, that he had such a clear memory of so many things. And at this moment where things should really be burned into your brain, images you don't want to save, should be burned into his brain. That he has such a foggy recollection seemed ungenuine to me. I couldn't get past the feeling that I thought that in this area I was being lied to.
Yep, and that's the same with me.
Yep.
I mean, the kennel video, all these things in my brain just had me at guilty. But I'm not big on the circumstance. I wish I had something.
Yeah,
that's the only. That's where the 20 is. It might be 90-10 now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. But I applaud you for having the open mind to say, convince me otherwise, let me
right.
prove that I'm wrong. I've got room to move. I think all of us in our different viewpoints should approach pretty much most of our, dilemmas, in life that same way and say, have an open mind so that you can at least listen to somebody else's opinion. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much, Carl, for calling in. I appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the channel. Yep. We'll see you.
All right.
Bye.
Call from. Okay. I sent the colored voicemail.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I think that was Johnny. I think I just sent Johnny to voicemail. I apologize. Try back here in just a second here. I want to know why Alex Murdaugh paid cousin Eddie $22,000 when he didn't pay him that much in the past. We didn't get for all the money, for all the financial crimes stuff that we did get. We got very little of what was involved with Eddie. That I was very curious about that. I think that would have been more interesting for us, but at the same time, it might have been more problematic for both the prosecution and the defense because the web just exponentially enlarges. Is that a word? Enlarges when you bring Eddie in, and that's why neither side brought Eddie in. Even though the door is open, neither side brought Eddie in for that reason. Were any of our friends from outside the U.S. able to call in? We did have a couple. We had one from Holland. We've had some from the UK. Let's see. We've had some from Canada as well. Did you see my jury update? No, I didn't. Yes, actually I did. The judge has said, let me see if I can go back here. I think I put it up on the screen. The judge has said that they can deliberate. Here it is. Jury's been deliberating for about an hour. This was about 10 minutes ago. So about an hour and 20 minutes. And the judge says jury can deliberate until 10 p.m. tonight. I will ask that if anyone gets the notification that the jury is coming back in, that something's happening, that I need to watch the video for, can you use the buffering sound effect? Trigger that buffering sound effect, and I'll watch for that because I don't want to miss that. Hey, look who this is.
Tag.
Hello, Tag. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I just thought I'd call in and say hi to my peeps and give a shout out to JB.
Peeps. Yep, you have to trigger the peeps sound. Here, I'll do it for you while you're here on the phone. Let's see. Peeps. There we go. Should happen here.
Oh, and I think he's guilty, and I also think that he let the chicken out on purpose because it's a slide lock. If you look at the coop, I think he let it out as a distraction. But that's just my view.
Was the chicken in the quail pen, or was there a different pen? I haven't seen the chicken pens.
It was on the side pen.
Okay.
And that one has a slide lock. So that's why I think that he had let the chicken out, knowing that her dog would go after it because they had taken the dog hunting before. Okay. So it would have given her a distraction. And I think that's where she got the tire mark, is she was chasing the dog and the chicken underneath, the hanger, and probably knocked into like the carts, trying to bend over and get the dog and everything.
So the chicken was a distraction. Wow.
Yeah, that's my thought.
And the chicken paid for that dearly as well. But that's
right. But he didn't care.
No. Well, that's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. I have to say, I'm not sure if I'm all the way with you, but I know Thal has been accusing the animals on the farm for something for quite a while. So maybe you're onto something. Awesome.
Thal's crazy like that. Well, our whole group is crazy, but I love it.
It's crazy in a good way, though.
The personalities.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, we wisecrack, but we're not like mean.
Yeah.
Like we just have fun. And, kind of like the good old days where people used to just have fun. Yeah. They'd prank, but they'd have fun.
Yeah,
it wasn't at anybody's expense.
Yeah, it's a fun community. Thank you, Tag. Appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
All right.
We'll see you.
Later. Bye.
Bye. All right, I just barely missed another call. My timing of ending calls and picking up the next one is just off, so I apologize on that one. Let's see. I thought Tag was a geezer. No. Lovely accent. It's funny as we start assigning voices to names that we've seen for months now. But I love it. It would seem that this chat has people from all over the world. I am Puzzleman. I know the people I talk are from all over. Yes. I am Puzzleman. We have people from all over the world for sure. Here we go. Thanks for calling back. Let's grab you here. Come on. And it dropped off. I apologize. We'll try that again. Let's see. I've got so many text messages and so many voicemails as people are trying to call in. They end up on the voicemail line. The burner phone is the best way to call in. Usually we use it for text messages, but today it is open phone. We've opened the burner phones up so you guys can call in from wherever. This is the number. It's 801-513-1160. That's a U.S. number, so you'll have to do whatever's appropriate to get from your country to mine, but you're welcome to call. Sharon McDonald says this call-in is absolutely fantastic. Now we can hear what gender people are, and also I thought Tag was a bloke. I knew better. Tag had actually shared quite a few images early on when I thought that it wouldn't be as busy as it was during the week, and I was also running the Recovery Weekend show. Tag had sent in a bunch of pictures, and so I knew early on. I should tell you. Lily Girl says, Recovery Addict, I think after the jury start to talk, they will not they will find him guilty. Vixen had sent an update just a minute ago saying that they had asked for something. Let's see here. Why is it trying to connect on my other device?
Call from.
There we go.
Mo?
It's Mo. It's Mo. It's Mo. Here we go. Mo, this is Recovery Addicts. How are you doing?
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
This is call 200 for you, but you made it in.
Hey, that's all right. I just wanted to say hello to everybody, and I think it's going to be a hung jury. So,
wow.
I don't know. I think they have. I know this is. I think they have somebody with that. That likes the Murdaughs or something in the jury. That's just my gut.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever participated in a jury before?
Yes, I did a 2-week murder trial.
2 weeks and murder as well. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Was that a hung jury or conviction?
No. Oh no, we found him guilty. He was very guilty. That was very hard and rough to do. So.
And I'm guessing it probably wasn't all circumstantial in that case, right?
Oh no, not at all. No. So,
wow. Well, that's a unique experience. I've never had that. So for some reason, my name just does not come up to the top of the list. So maybe one day it will. Probably while I'm live streaming, and I'll have to leave and live stream. Oh yeah, that's how things will happen.
Oh.
Well, Mo, what part of the country are you in?
This is great, and I am in Florida. I'm in Central Florida. Okay. So. I used to go by Maureen Smith on here and switched it to Mo just to make it easy for everybody.
Yeah, I've got you as Maureen in the phone still, so that's
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Mo, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right.
Stay safe and warm down there in Florida.
Oh, I will, and thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Take
Bye. Care, all. Bye.
March 13 says, Recovery Addict, please show some love to the larkers that enjoy the debate but don't say anything. We should be recognized as much as the ones that participated. Marsh, we have some amazing lurkers, probably the best lurkers on the internet here that are just fantastic. I do appreciate everyone who just comes in and never chats. We've got people like JB up in Canada.
Layla Berg.
Let's see. Hello, this is Recovery Addict. Did I hear Layla Brigg?
Yes, it is.
How are you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
First, I want to say thank you for your show. Honestly, I don't know without you, during the day, what would I do?
Probably get a lot of work done, I'm guessing.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
And third, are we on a verdict watch? Are we going to stay till 10 o'clock?
Well, I don't know if we want to stay till 10 o'clock. If it goes for a long time, we might drop off. I'll have everything set up to go live in a moment's notice, and I just won't be able to leave my office. So we will be back.
It's all right. We might owe you some overtime, but we appreciate your work. And dinner's on me tonight.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
God bless. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Mm-hmm. God bless your show. Bye-bye, sweetie.
Bye. Oh, that's sweet. That's awesome. Okay, so the jury's asked for a monitor. They want to watch some sort of video. I'm not sure if it's going to be what video did they show that they haven't seen 100 times, right? So they've got the police videos, the body cam footage. They've got the different interviews. They have Paul's camera. They have the Snapchat video. What else? What else is it? What would they want to see? Let's see. Somebody just said, I left a message on your line. I would love to talk with you on this case. I don't know who that was. The number ended in 22. Feel free to give us a call back. That was just 2 minutes ago. The text came through. I'm not able to make outbound calls on this at the same time. It doesn't play nice when I try to do that. So let's see, I've got 52 missed calls. 52 missed calls. So it's been a little busy. Could I give the jury a monitor of my? Oh my goodness, Ivan. I started reading, and then I saw where you went with that. So you've tricked me. Let's see.
Call from
Johnny Strabler.
Hey Johnny, this is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you feeling about this trial today?
Well, I worked alongside Miss Nicole Goodman, and I agree with what she had to tell you.
All right.
They have not, absolutely not, proven this case. And if you're going to build a case, you got to start with a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And once that cop lied at the grand jury, there shouldn't have been anything after that. They should have stopped what they were doing, dropped the case, refiled it, go back in again, whatever else they could bring up. But once that cop lied, he blew everything.
I'm surprised there wasn't a motion for a mistrial or something at that point, because we didn't know he lied until Owens was on the stand, right? That's the first time we heard he had lied.
Correct, which is absolutely crazy because they had to know before he got on the stand.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that came in that was probative and not probative. It was prejudicial, not probative.
Yeah.
All that money,
all the financial stuff.
It didn't need to come in, and that would have cut this thing down incredibly. So that shouldn't have been in. So the judge, in my opinion, I think that was a bad decision. All respect to the bench.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of just unusual, crazy things. As Ms. Goodman said, there should have been a lot more objections on the defense's side. This prosecutor was running around like crazy, doing things that shouldn't have come in, making accusations and false narratives that should never have been allowed to have been said in court. But unless the defense objects, the judge has to just let it keep going.
Yeah, and we heard that from the judge today. He's like, hey, if there's no objection, I can't tell you what to do. It's basically you guys go along. If you don't object, I'm not going to interject. A couple times he did. He's like, at one point he said the court objects to something that was happening. But I think there were a lot of missed objections on both sides during this one, and maybe even some bad calls on the judge's part. I love Judge Newman, but I think there was too much financial stuff in there. There was too much.
Well,
yeah.
And from a cop standpoint, I did 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
This investigation looked like it was done by a kindergartner.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I mean, one hand didn't know what the other hand was doing. Stuff that wasn't tested. I don't know the name of that one particular pathologist, but she really had difficulties backing up what she said or what she did, or especially what she didn't do. It was incredible what she didn't do.
Yeah.
I can't believe any of that came in from her. She was an awful, awful witness for the prosecution.
Yeah.
Great for the defense.
It's funny how some of the witnesses did more help for the other side than the side that brought them on the stand during this trial. But great. Johnny, I appreciate your experience. You say you work alongside Nicole. Is there a close connection there? Is that?
I guess you could say there is.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we've loved having Nicole provide her insight as well and connect on and off when she's available. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You should get her. You should get her to do that trial in Idaho.
Oh
with
man,
the couple with the.
Yeah, they just
I get it.
The Lori
Faster.
The Daybell Vallow case. News today, the judge just split them up. They're not going to be tried together. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be
expensive for the. That'll be expensive for the state. But I'm telling you, ask Ms. Goodman. I bet you get her to do that for you.
That would be fun. Well, thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate you. Thanks for calling in.
All right, sir. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. What did you think of the analogy Jim made about the guilty, not guilty, and not proven? I thought that was great. I liked it. Lee. Look at that. Did you just change your name with 2 E's? Just for me. But I don't know. It just looks different. I liked it because we had just barely done a poll the previous day using those same items with the Scottish not proven. Okay,
call from Maggie Carr. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. To accept.
Hey, Maggie. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? I just wanted to call, first of all, about our field trip to the Pickle place. And secondly, I just wanted to say that right now I don't think he's guilty because the state hasn't proven that he is.
All
That's
right.
my opinion.
I have to back up. First things
anyway,
first, the pickle thing. You sent me
Okay.
a text on the burner phone about, I think it's up in Mount Olive, North Carolina. There's some pickle festival. Tell me more about that. I need to know.
I don't know much about it other than what I sent you, but I think that it was very funny that you wrote me back about we need to go on a field trip.
Yes.
So I figured maybe if one of you can go to it, we could all go on that lovely field trip to the pickle.
A day trip to the pickle
festival.
plant. Yeah, and maybe we'll have a jar of pickles as a memento.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of pickles they're it didn't say on it what their pickle company is, but
yeah,
I don't know that I saw that.
I think it's going to be Mount Olive Pickle Company or something. They're up there, I think. But
could be.
Yeah.
But I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yes,
so,
I did.
And I also sent you two funny from about Alex Murdaugh too. That's been a couple days ago, but I didn't know.
I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate it. It was a busy time when they came in. I normally try to respond. You guys might know. I try to respond to every single message I get on the burner phone.
I know.
And it's been a lot harder lately. So I do apologize for that.
I can imagine. I can
but,
imagine. And thank you so much. I really enjoy. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and the pollen count is awful here. And I just want to thank you for keeping me out of the pollen.
We do what we
I
can.
like watching your channel. You do a great job.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. Have a great day.
You too, honey. Bye.
All right. Bye. Norma, I do apologize. I'm not there. I've had like now 70 some odd calls on the burner phone. I do apologize. Keep trying. I will try to let you in. I can only answer one at a time. That's my only dilemma. I don't have anyone. There's nobody that is blocked on the burner phone. Let's see, recover addict or anyone. What did which cop lie about? Debbie, we're talking about, I think it was Mr. Owens who testified that he had testified to the grand jury before this case was brought forward. And he had testified that there was high velocity blood splatter from Paul all over Alex Murdaugh's shirt. And he had testified that all the guns in the gun room, all the shotguns in the gun room were loaded the same with one shot of buckshot and one shot of birdshot in it. Both of which were facts, not in evidence. They were false, and there was no evidence to back them up. There was no point in the investigation when those facts even were thought to have been known. So that's those. I think that's what we're referring to. Grillo's pickles are crazy good. We'll have to try some of the pickles. What do you think the judge? Do you think the judge wore his robe on the field trip? No, I think he was like in sweatpants. I can just see Judge Newman in some sneakers and sweatpants, just going for a quick jog around the field or something up there. Phone screener with multiple lines. I need that. I really do. The phone is available right now if someone wants to try to connect. The line is open. But yeah, lurkers, call in if you'd like. You don't have to, though. Lurking is okay. You don't have to lurk. I just won't be able to answer your questions unless you put it in chat or call in. Allison Hall says, hi from Scotland. Was interested in comments on Scottish law. I think it would be not proven in Scotland. Allison, yes. I think it was yesterday we did a poll in chat where we did the guilty, not guilty, hung jury, and then we added the fourth item which is from Scottish law of not proven, meaning that I think he did it, but the state hasn't proven it. I believe that's the understanding. It was fun to see that brought up in these closing arguments. That was pretty neat, but not the way we do it here in the U.S. It's just a different system. I'm not saying we have the best one. I do like it, but sometimes that not proven would seem helpful. Let's see. They said he wore street clothes. He was incognito. Judge was in street clothes. He probably wears street clothes underneath his robe too, like every day. Apparently the judge was in a black leather jacket and he smokes, says Suzanne. That's why we have all the breaks. Have I tried Bubby's spicy pickles? Dick and I have not. I've not tried those. I've not ever seen them. Somebody has to send me a picture of where those are. Let's see, the feed is still. Let's see. Let me see if I can replace that feed with this one here. Let's see, it's in box 1 from feed 2. I wish we had a timer. Let's see. Check Discord DMs for the official indictment charges. I want to see the judge dressed in black riding a Harley. It is bad that he lied. I think they would have indicted him anyway. I agree, Debbie. I think they would have, just on the information they have and his behavior and a bunch of other things. I think there was enough to get an indictment without that information. Although that really, had that been there, that would have been the smoking gun evidence that we wanted, but it wasn't there. Texas tornado warning. Severe squall line capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage was located near Caddo, or 18 miles east of Breckenridge, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Please stay safe if you're in that area. It's moving across out of Texas. I think that's on its way out of Texas right now. I have an image when I read that about the leather jacket. Yeah. Can you see the judge? He probably rides a Harley. I'm thinking he rides a Harley to work. Parks it right up on the courthouse steps. How long can they deliberate today? Katerina, we've heard that the judge says he can go as late as 10 p.m. And here it is. Vixen, thank you for you read my mind. As late as 10 p.m. We've heard that in other trials where the judge says you can go late if you want and then doesn't allow it. So we'll see. Let's see who we have here. Come on. Why is it switching over to that? I'm going to try to take my iPhone out of the mix here. Let's see. I apologize. My iPhone is intercepting calls and screening them for me. I'm going to remove the app from the iPhone or from the iPad. There we go. Okay, now if you call, it won't go over to the iPad. I should be a little better. Do you think Alex's testimony helped or hurt him? I think he thought it would help him. I think it was a zero-sum game where because everything he said that was helpful might be discounted by the jury because he lied. Okay. Now it's working.
Call from the Brown Barn.
Hey, Brown Barn. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing today?
Hey, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for making it through the phone. My receptionist is the worst.
Yeah. Well, hey, I dialed it once and I got right through.
The first-time caller, like literally. That is amazing.
First-time caller, mostly lurker,
mm-hmm.
but I do love it when I can get on chat and hear and watch what everybody's saying. Love your channel. I'm absolutely new to this whole YouTube sensation of watching a trial online, and I'm hooked.
Me too. So, I'm new too. Just a couple months.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep. I'm going to follow whatever you guys do. I really kind of found you guys just because I was interested in the Murdaugh trial, but now I'm going to follow whatever you're doing next. So thank you.
Awesome. We will have some fun trials to follow. I can't wait. Personally, I think my favorite might just be Sarah Boone. This trial did grow on me. It was a little rough start, but it did grow on me. And towards the end, I'm invested in this one now. But I think Sarah Boone is just going to be a riot. As fun as it can be talking about somebody who died, really, some of us have like this warped sense of humor because we talk about murder so much that we can joke about it.
Well, don't we all? That anybody that really follows true crime got a warped sense of humor, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know anything about the Sarah Boone thing, but I'm going to have to look into it. I've heard you talk about it.
Oh, it's bizarre. It's the letters from Sarah Boone. I'm still waiting for one from I've got a Freedom of Information Act request into the Florida governor, trying to get a copy of the letter from there. Still waiting for that. That hasn't come through yet. It's bizarre. It's like you can kill someone and then say, I didn't do it intentionally and expect to get off. That's basically her standpoint. So her poor lawyer, he's got his hands full. He wants off the case and the judge won't let him. The 5 others before got
yesterday. The judge
dismissed.
was like, "No, hang tight. You got to stay in."
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've got the OnlyFans trial OnlyFans model, I guess you say, that was that stabbed her boyfriend or threw the knife and that killed the boyfriend, and just some crazy trials. Obviously, the Vallow trial, Daybell, BK, when that happens up in Idaho as well, that's going to be one that we're going to follow for sure. If that ever even goes to trial, I mean, he may plead guilty, so that might not ever see the light of day. But yeah, crazy.
I've been fascinated by this Murdaugh, and I'm originally from the Low Country area of South Carolina, and went to school in Charleston. I live in outside of Raleigh now, in the Apex Seaquave Arena area.
Yeah.
But I was really the night before you started talking about the next morning you had your theory on the 17 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That I had the same conversation with my husband, and I was like, there is just no way that he did what he said he did in that amount of time when he pulled up and jumped out of the Suburban. And then you added the part in that I had missed about being back connected with the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
When you made the phone call.
Yep.
So there's a lot there that really is still questionable to me. I think if I were a juror, I'd really have to be doing some deliberating, but I just don't understand how there's so many coincidences in that timeline with him passing the same spot that Maggie's phone was nearly at the same moment, that it never moved again. He's either being shadowed by someone, or he's trailing someone, or he is the one. And I think he is the one. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brown Barn. Appreciate it. Appreciate your perspective. Thanks so much for calling in. We'll see you in chat.
Love you. Thanks. Okay. Have a good one.
Call from Nash. Okay. I sent the caller to voicemail.
No, don't do that.
Bye.
No, don't do that. I tried to accept that one. Sorry about that. That was from, I think it was from Mags. I'm not sure if that was, I think that's what I heard. It was a little bit muffled. With all that is coming in for the Idaho 4 cases, I think BK might take a plea. I don't know if they'll offer him a plea, Suzanne. That's if they have enough evidence, why would they offer him a plea? I realize it does save the state some money, but if they can get the full conviction, the throw the book at him type thing, and are confident in that, then there's no incentive for them to get a plea. There's what could he give them in return for a lesser charge or lighter sentence?
Call from
Paul.
Hello, is this Bob? This is a recovery addict.
Fall.
Sorry. It sounded like Bob. I got Bob. That's all I heard. Fall, how are you doing?
All right. Pretty good. We need to get you a call screener and several lines, my friend. We need to.
Well, I just got an email from you with your resume, and honestly, you probably don't have the experience, but I don't know. I'll give you a shot.
Yeah, I don't have the patience either.
Yep. What are you thinking?
So some of the things I wanted to go over there was just that the prosecution's opening, I gave them like a 3.5. It was boring to dust.
Mm-hmm.
Like every fourth word I was paying attention. Other than that, I was pretty much just ignoring whatever they were saying.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we opened with the financial, I was like, my brain just turned off. I was like, okay, staring at paint. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was hard for me to get back into what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't. He just didn't flow.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of uhs and ums, and I'll get to that in a second. But then the defense came out, and I figured they'd, hammer it pretty good with some pretty good frivolity or some pretty very volume or emotion or something. And they didn't. They came out just as placid as he was. So I gave him like a 4.5.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm paying attention. The prosecution then came out very passionately at the end, which they should have done at the first.
At least they got both, they got both styles of presentations. I'm with you on at the beginning. Watching Creighton Waters standing in front of the jury, facing the screen, reading his PowerPoint was like the low point for me. I'm just like, this is awful. This can't get much worse than this. But
no, and it really couldn't. I mean, it was bad. And then And then the problem was for me was that the prosecution, the closing was like a microcosm of the entire trial for me.
Yeah.
Because the prosecution once again did everything friggin' backwards. And I was like, who put this mess together? I know 5-year-olds, I got a 3-year-old granddaughter who could have put this together more succinctly in an order. But, when you go, okay, we're going to talk about the murders and go over the evidence, and then you bounce back to motive, the next day of the finances, which happened before the murders, and then we bounce all the way after that to how he did an interrogation. I'm going, who's on first? What in God's name, and by the end they get done, I'm sitting there going, okay, I think I understand something happened, and then the defense comes around. 5 days later, I finally catch up, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I get the order.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't be doing that, Right. As somebody watching this, I haven't seen a Netflix thing either, but I shouldn't be doing that. This should be like, okay, finances, murder, evidence, boom, last thing, interrogations, now we go to trial. It's real simple. It's just so simple. And then just everything was a mess. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The one thing I will give the prosecution is the last person they put up. Mm-hmm. The last person they put up, I really loved that because that's what I wanted everybody to kind of take notice of. That's how you give a presentation. That guy practiced his thing.
And that was the state AG that was doing the direct on that. Is that what you're talking about? Are you the last witness or the last, like the state's
the last prosecutor.
Okay.
Yeah, state closing. But I mean, that's how every single one of them should have been. That's just like public speaking 101. Because if I say, I'm going to give a speech to you, recovery addict, and I want you to pay attention very closely to what I'm saying because it's very intricate. Yes. If I go, recovery addict, I want to, got you the notes, I got to give a speech and I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Yeah. You see how disjointed that is?
Yeah, the narrative, the passionate narrative, it does work for me better than the PowerPoint, for sure. I did think he was a little too dramatic on the volume changes. I was maybe I couldn't focus because I was constantly turning the volume up and down trying to write it. I had a limiter going. I had a compressor going. You guys, if you watch this on another channel, you'll be amazed because you won't be able to hear half of what he said and the other half will blow out the sound. So I'm writing it constantly over here, working the controls. So that part I was frustrated with because, the jurors, obviously your ears work better than the microphones, but at the same time, I did like the way he delivered.
Well, and he didn't do himself any favors, though, when he overdid it on Bubba. That's when it really, and I saw a lot of the chat saying the same thing that I was experiencing, which was, dude, tone down. Holy God. Because he damn near shouted Bubba.
Yeah, I jumped.
You're one fifth in the jury. You don't need to do that.
Yep. Yep. I think Alex jumped, too, from across the courtroom.
Yeah.
All right, Thal, there's someone trying to call in from the UK that's tried like 7 times. Yeah. So let me let you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll catch you later. All right. All right. Bye.
See you, bud.
Call from Marsh. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello, this is a recovery addict. Did it say, is this Marsh?
Yes.
Hey, Marsh, it's a little bit of a fuzzy connection. Go ahead and tell me a little bit what you think about the trial.
That's because I'm calling from the UK.
Okay.
And I'm watching you live, so I'm a little bit confused as to why I'm watching you live and I'm still talking to you now.
Okay, so I just raised my hand, and you're going to see it in just a couple of seconds. I'm waving. So it takes a couple seconds for it to come through live. But that's the delay. That's just the YouTube delay.
See.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi. Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm hearing your voice.
Well, it sounds like you're a robot. It sounds like you're like one of those 5'2" robots they were talking about in court. Not sure what the phone company is doing on your connection.
Literally 5'1". I am 5'1", so I could be one of those robots.
That's funny. That is funny. Well, is there anything you wanted to say about the trial here?
Yeah, I wanted to know, because everything, the UK system is very different is from the U.S. system.
Right.
Oh my God, I hear myself on your picture.
It's getting hard to hear your voice. It's hard to hear. It sounds like a robot pretty badly, and I know that's not how you sound in real life.
I'm gonna go further away from my connection to my YouTube. So as you know, the UK system is very different from the US system in justice. So I want to know what your take is on guilt or innocence. Forget the it's proven or not proven. Do you believe he is guilty or not?
Yeah. I'll answer that question. I'll let you go. It's hard to hear your voice. I apologize. I'll answer your question off the air if that's all right.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling in. I'm sorry that the connection is so bad. Appreciate you very much. Let me tell you. Let me answer.
Okay. It's a UK connection, so I'm sorry I haven't. Like I said to your other, basically your other community has helped me so much.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Understanding how this all works, they have been great with helping me. So additionally, if I haven't done this right, it's not you, it's me.
Okay. I'll let you go. It's breaking up pretty badly now, but thank you so much for calling. I look forward to seeing you in chat, and I'm glad you can watch from the UK. Let me answer your question now, so thank you very much. The question that she was asking, and I apologize for the bad connection. That's not her fault. That was just the way the phone lines connect. Was what is my take personally, not whether or not it's proven or not. And I guess I should come out and say I believe he's guilty. That is my take. I believe he's guilty. I also believe that the state has proven it, for me, beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's the only way I could reach that conclusion of guilty. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. She was expressing how her system in the UK is a little different. She also was saying that this channel's helped her so much, and that she loves all of you. So thank you very much. Love your accent. Hopefully next time we call in, another time that maybe the connection will work a little bit better. But I do apologize for that. All right. Let's see. I did send a couple people to voicemail during that, and I apologize. If you need to call back again, the phone line is open right now. I did not catch the name, Kevin. I do apologize. It was a pretty bad connection. We do not have a verdict yet, Dodie. We're still waiting. It looks like the jury's been deliberating a little less than 2 hours, and they might be going late until the night. Yeah, I don't think I sounded that way to her. It's just the connection to my end that was bad. When is the Sarah Boone trial? P-Will for real. That's a great question. Sarah Boone is slated right now for an April trial date, but we know that the judge has authorized the defense to hire some investigators to look into basically it's a battered wife investigation to see, look into that side. That may take more time, and they may ask for a continuance because of that. As of right now, mid-April, I think, was the start date. I'd have to look at the exact date. But hopefully that moves forward. I'd like that case not to move any farther out. Sarah Boone wants it to go to court. She's pushing very hard, even though she's already waived her right to a speedy trial. She wants that case to move forward. She's been in jail for I think over 3 years now. I think it was Marsh. I think that Marsh was the name. Maybe Marsh 13. I don't know if that was you or not on the calling from the UK. Let's see. Marsh and then you hugs. Wonderful. They're going to investigate over a year and a half. Let's see. P-Will for real. They're going to investigate over a year after the trial. Sounds like a tough challenge. Is it true? Yes, this is true, Kib Kitty. Today, Chad's case was severed from Lori's. So they're separate. Chad's case has been continued, meaning it's pushed out later.
Call from
JB.
Hey, guess who this is? Hello, JB. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How's the weather up there north of Toronto?
Yeah, pardon me?
You might need to turn your screen down a little bit because it's going to have a little bit of a delay. It's confusing.
Okay, there, yeah, because I'm watching the chat, and I got you on the TV.
Right.
But, yes, how's everyone?
They're all waving to you in chat. I'm putting the messages up on the screen saying Golden Mom, Debbie, Laura, Abby UK, Samantha. Just lots of people are just calling you out in chat saying hello. So I think everyone's doing great. How are you doing?
Great. Tell them I love them all, and I love.
Well, they can hear you.
This.
They can hear you. You can tell them yourself.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I love you, all the OGs and all our new addicts. You are the best. And I love your chat. I get to watch it now. I never used to be able to. And I am definitely going to be in there very soon. My name is on the bottom of my screen here that I'm a member, but I've got to get my son-in-law to come down and help me fix the computer.
Yeah. And when that happens,
I don't know how to use it.
We'll have you in chat then, and it's going to be amazing to have you in chat with us.
Yes, and it's been wild, this trial. I'm pretty, it's been long, and I've been like, I voted for a hung jury because I've never watched none of the other shows. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the guilty side.
Okay, sounds good.
But it might be a hung jury because of what's been going on, right?
Yeah. Is there a time in the trial or a moment in the trial that just stands out as either your favorite or the most remarkable or most bizarre?
The most was when he got up and said he was there.
Yeah.
Alex Murdaugh got up and said he was at the kennels.
Wow.
That was that blew my mind.
Yeah.
And that really shook me, So, but it's been a shocker. Some of the things that have gone on, right?
Yeah, it seems it's a little bit like a circus,
Yes, yeah, and everyone's picked up on it. The chat is just great,
They are.
I love all different. Everything. It's very, very nice. And so they're all wonderful people, and they always are asking. I appreciate them all so much.
Well, JB, that's awesome.
And
I'm glad we could bring you on live so you could tell them yourself. I've always passed the message on for you, but this is
I know you have. I know, recovery addict. I usually call you late in the evening to talk on your voicemail.
Yeah. JB calls me about 10:30 at night, and we talk for a little bit, and it's great. Yeah. Usually over the weekends. So
yeah.
But for those that don't know, JB has been here for a long time on the channel, but he's not able to chat yet. His son is going to teach him how to do the chat on the YouTube. Once they get that fixed, he'll be joining us in chat. But he was able to call in on the burner phone early on, and so we found out about JB and Ronnie as well. Ronnie, JB is in your same boat. He's in your same situation where he can watch but he can't chat, and so he texts me as well and is called as well. But it's good to have both of you here, and it's great to have you on live as well.
Yes, and I thank you very much, Scott, and all our addicts. They're the best.
Thank you.
And they make my day every day now, so I won't be leaving.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you, JB. Stay warm, stay healthy, and we'll look forward to hearing you again.
Yeah, I have a big winter storm warning on my machine in front of me here.
Oh, no. Stay warm.
Yeah, so we're getting whacked again. Oh, my God.
We've got so much snow.
My little ice hut, my smoke in my little ice hut outside there is going to come down maybe with this one.
Be safe, whatever you do.
Okay, and thank everyone, and I love you all, and I'll be talking soon.
All right, thanks, JB. Stay safe. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
That's awesome. JB is a longtime friend of the program. Is awesome. JB's son-in-law, you need to teach your father-in-law to chat pronto, says Debbie. We want JB in chat. Let's see. Sunshine Sunflower says, I absolutely love this. Thank you, Recovery Addict, for taking time to talk to anyone who's able to call in. Hey, definitely, if you're willing to take the time to call and be respectful, I have nothing but time to listen. We're in jury watch. We're in verdict watch. What else is there to talk about as we wait for the jury to get their work done? Let's see, Mac, you are a little bit behind. You might want to skip ahead, but after JB's call finishes. I managed to talk about this trial. I missed a question earlier. Sorry, so I'll go back to it if I can find it. I managed to talk about this trial during my son's IEP meeting today. Apparently his teacher has been following as well. That's awesome. IEP is like a school, it's like a parent-teacher type conference. Sharon McDonald says that it's made by day, hearing from JB. Where was that? I had a question. I apologize. Let's see. Dodie Sweeney says, is Darrell Brooks going to get an appeal trial? I haven't heard of any of his appeals being granted, and that would have to be granted for him to get a new trial. Most of his appeals are sort of far-fetched. The record is preserved pretty well, and I think Judge Doro did a masterful job in being fair in all the decisions, and maybe even going too far in allowing him to push the limits, so to speak, before taking away the rights, say, like for him to continue questioning a witness, or for him to testify in his own defense, things like that. She went above and beyond, almost too far, I think. So I don't think any of his appeals have really grounds that I am aware of. Obviously, all the ones that have to do with admiralty court and subject matter jurisdiction and everything else he wants to throw about being a sovereign citizen or not acknowledging that name, those aren't going to fly. Those are arguments that are basically non-starters for the appellate court. Thanks for the question there. Anyone else, if you do want to call, this is the number at the burner phone. It's the do not disturb has been turned off, so you get right through. Unfortunately, only one call at a time. Alec Murdaugh is guilty as charged, as Texas tough. Let's see. Weather Watch, send JB better weather. I'm not sure, DMB, I'm not sure if Weather Watch can, because that's like an international boundary. JB, I think I think he told me he's about 150 miles sort of north of Toronto. I'm not sure. Let's see. Hey, I think we have Amber on the phone. Amber, you might need to turn down your TV just for a minute. Are you there?
I already did. Beautiful. I am.
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. I figured since we had a lull in the burner phone activity, I figured I might as well just call in.
Yep. For those that don't know, Amber is one of our mods. She goes as Clipson's Vixen here on our channel on YouTube. It's a very similar name but different on Twitter. you add like an adjective in there or something, right?
I did, but at the request of Weather Watch, so blame him.
Okay. He's responsible for everything.
It's all his fault. He is.
Yep. What are you thinking about the case right now? What's on the top of your mind?
I don't know. I really don't. I think it's going to end up coming back hung. I have my opinion on the verdict that I would say guilty, but by the same token, I have to really look at reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. Just as anybody else has to. So it really just kind of depends on how seriously someone on that jury looks at the reasonable doubt factor.
Let me dig a little bit on that. What is it for you that is the most troublesome?
Oh gosh, one thing?
It's something that just stands out. You can, if there's a couple, that's fine as well.
Marion's testimony was super important for me.
You're talking about Maggie's sister, right?
Yes. Okay. There was some information that she gave that I was unaware of. and most know that I can get my hands on things that seem impossible.
You do.
So for me, it was her testimony because she had a lot to say that I didn't know about. So I think that would have to be my one biggest factor. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, everybody that watches seems to be split between guilty, not guilty, and hung verdict. So I'm eager to see what they decide. And on that subject, the really most important reason I wanted to call, since I know texting you is pointless at the moment, is
yes. Sorry, the phone is very busy.
Once you are no longer live, I need to know the best way to get a hold of you. When there's news on a jury.
I'll reach out to you on the mods chat channel if that's all right.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. But
okay.
we gotta make sure I have a way to let everybody know.
For those that don't know, I don't give out my access outside of the burner phone very often. Amber has been phenomenal at not just finding documents that are hard to find, but getting access to them the moment they become available. And not just in this trial, but just all over the place. She keeps us in the loop, and a lot of times you'll see her message, check the burner type thing. That's when she's keeping me updated on maybe another case that's pertinent and a big decision happening. It's just amazing. It's super helpful to me. Not just that, but Amber, when we think back just a couple of weeks, when we're sitting here listening to all these dates and timestamps and bits of information that are just floating around in the air, Amber went out and made a timeline before any of the timelines were available, and started putting that together so we could piece this together and really start making sense of this case. And since then, several other people have made timelines. They've all been super helpful. You do an amazing job, and on top of that, an amazing mod as well. So thank you very much. I know I'm giving you credit. Samantha Terry is amazing. Abby's amazing. Katrina, Weather Watch. We've got a whole bunch of mods that do an amazing job. We've got Creative Bee in there. Just who am I missing off the top of my head?
We've got a good team. Abby, Toxic, Weather Watch is in there.
Yeah.
Katrina.
Thal's in there.
We've got
you got to give Thal some ground as well.
Oh, I mean. Yeah, I do.
What was that hesitation in your voice? He can hear you.
Because I know, but Saul and Katrina have been trying to bait me into getting in trouble in the chat. So
it's awesome. I love the chat. I love the banter back and forth, but because it is friendly, because it's civil and fun. What you do helps create a lot of what makes this channel so much fun for people to come to. So thank you very much for that.
I'm glad to be a part of such an awesome group. I think it's fantastic, the crowd that we've got. So
yeah, it's amazing.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely get a hold of me after and let me know how I can give updates.
Yeah.
when they're available.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. So because Jury Watch.
I just got a marriage proposal. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm happily married.
All right. I've got another call coming in, Amber. Thank you so much for calling in. Thanks for all you do and all the mods as well. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
See y'all in chat.
Bye. Hello, this is Scott.
Hi, Scott. Good day. This is Andy Eigenman, and we're reaching out to all Rocky Mountain Power customers. And first of all, sir, this is not a sales call. I'm calling just to notify that our trucks will be out in the next few days, and we will be working on the government-funded net metering program.
Can I ask you a question? Is it okay if I broadcast this call to about 529 people? Because you're live on YouTube.
Oh, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. My job here, sir, is only to check if you do qualify for the energy efficiency upgrades that you don't have to pay anything out of your pocket. We're just offering here a free solar evaluation of your house to see if it would make financial sense for you to consider adding some solar panels to the house, which will help you save money and lower down your monthly electric bill.
Right.
And we at Clean Renewable Advisors, working alongside with Rocky Mountain Power to connect the new net meter, Now, sir, I only have here 4 quick qualifying questions that you may answer with a simple yes or a no to see if you and your home could qualify. Would that be okay with you?
I do want to know if they will work with my current system because I have lunar panels right now.
Oh, you already have solar
No,
panels.
no,
Is that
I
what
don't
you
have
meant?
solar. I've got the lunar panels. They're like the solar ones, but they charge by the light of the moon at night. So it's like the reverse because the solar ones work during the day, the lunar ones work at night, and it just for me that was easier.
Okay. So would you be interested in getting solar panels with no out-of-pocket cost?
If it works with the lunar panels, I just don't want them to ruin the lunar panels because those work really well for me because moonlight is really cheap.
Is it already installed on your roof?
Yes, I have lunar panels on one side, but I have it on the shady side because it doesn't need the sunlight.
Okay. But you are interested in getting solar panels, right?
Well, I might be. I mean, the lunar panels do most of
Okay.
the work for me.
But sir, since you already have that lunar panels that you have, may I know how much is your average monthly electric bill?
I pay
do you
about
think it would reach at least $80?
$500.
Oh, that's quite expensive though. And you're
Is
still
it?
connected with Rocky Mountain Power, right?
No, I live in North Carolina.
Oh, you're not with Rocky Mountain Power. Okay, thank you for letting me know, sir. And I'm sorry, are you with Duke Energy?
Yes. Do you like pickles?
I'm sorry?
This is one of the people here on chat wanted to know if you like pickles, and I like pickles. I tell people to eat pickles. I mean, you're telling me to use solar panels. I'm just saying, do you like pickles?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. We probably have something in common. I'm not with Duke Energy directly. I'm with one of the subsidiaries.
Okay, so that's the answer. That's the end of the discussion, sir. Sorry for the bother, and you do have a great day. Goodbye.
All right, bye. Okay, I'm not sure where that guy got where that came from, but I got her to say lunar panels. Lunar panels do not exist for those that don't know. There's no such thing as panels that charge by the light of the moon. But I was polite. It was not a robot. How did that happen? She actually called through on my regular phone, and they both come through. The burner phone and the regular phone come through at the same time. And so it said there was a possible scam call, and it came through. I sell solar pickles. Does she have eggs? No, that's funny. I try to be nicer, but I do like to give these guys a hard time a little bit. I wasn't going to go there, Meanie Banana. I was going to use the light of the moon, not the light of someone mooning. But let's see. We've got back to business now. We've had some fun.
Lady Ryder.
Hello, Lady Ryder. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. That was awesome. Lunar panels. Can't go wrong with those.
Yep.
I just wanted to call in and say that I am on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I expected a little bit more out of both sides. I watched the Chandler and Halderson trial and the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and both of those, the attorneys just kept me on my toes and just passion. And I didn't get that from this. And I know there are different trials, but I just wish there had been a little bit more talked about than what was, so it would be easier. I'm looking for an easy decision, is what it is. In my mind,
I would love an easy decision. We don't get one here, huh?
Right. No. And in my mind, he's guilty, but if I'm a juror and I'm being honest, I'm not convinced.
Okay. That's what your duty as a juror would be then, to vote not guilty at this point. And I've got to respect that. That's good.
I wanted to say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you been on a jury before, or you've had the opportunity to serve there?
No, I've been called, but they don't let me do it. I don't know why, but I've been.
you tried, but you can't.
Several times. Right. I go, I fill out the questionnaire, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want that crazy woman." So,
that's funny. That's probably my experience too. If they ever call me, they're like, "Nope." Well, that's funny.
I wanted to say hi to everyone in chat, and I also wanted to tell you I did go to voicemail when you were on the phone with Marsh, and I am so sorry. I hope I didn't offend you, but at the end I said I love you.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I do enjoy this channel, but I didn't want you to.
I've done the same thing at the end of a business call before. It's just habit. You know, I say I talk to my wife so much, and I say I love you, and then I've told perfect strangers that apparently we have a soul connection because I'm in love with them. So it happens. I'm not offended at all.
That's great. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Lady Writer. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Spreading the love around. Yes. That's great. Misty Farley says, I've been on 2 jury panels. How come you win and we lose? I think I need to go back and watch Matthew Harris's video on how to get chosen, how to not get not chosen, or I forget how he words it. But he's got a video out there on his channel, on the YouTube channel, about how to get chosen for a jury, what you do want to do if you want to get chosen, or what you should do legally if you would prefer not to serve. Either way, be honest, don't lie. The jury asked for a monitor, so they're watching some video. I'm not seeing any motion. As a matter of fact, let me switch over to box source 1, 6. Yeah, so Law and Crime has no motion on all 3 of their cameras. I'm going to keep their audio on just for a little bit and see if that's helpful. Not sure. Okay, back to the left says, I hope you cover the OnlyFans trial. I live in the same condo building it occurred. Holy cow. Never forgot that day in the circus of police outside. Back to the left, I would love to cover that trial. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be a little bit like the Mark Jensen trial, where so much of the evidence might need to be submitted under seal. Let's put it that way. I don't want to have anything accidentally show on the channel that would put me in jeopardy of YouTube's terms of service. So we'll keep an eye out on that. They're playing music. I can't do that. They have a timer. Let me do this. Let me switch 1 to 3, and let me grab their timer. I'm going to do this. I want to steal Long Crime's timer off their screen. They're showing 2 hours and 16 minutes. Submit in a plain paper bag. Yes. C. Jewel says, I've only been called to jury once. I've had to file a hardship paper because I was busy fighting cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, C. Jewel. That is not fun at all. Hopefully you're doing well health-wise now. I've been on a jury and a grand jury. Wow. Won't be able to be on a jury. Too emotional. Such a difficult decision. I'm a nurse, and they love nurses on jury. We can look at and interpret data using critical thinking. And Meanie Banana, you're used to seeing some stuff most people don't see. Quite honestly, nurses have seen some pretty rough stuff, and just sort of comes with the job. Halfway through the Moselle episode, and I have to say guilty, says Carl Herschel. What's the alternative juror number? Insurance claims, I don't remember. They did say it. We do know what the alternate number is, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I did not write it down. Let's see. What's the OnlyFans trial? That was Courtney Clenny. Is that her name? You want to be? How about that? This one's live. Oh yeah, that's the point. We're ready to watch though. So sorry. I think we're watching the seal in case anything happens in court. The OnlyFans trial is Courtney Clenny apparently got in a fight with her boyfriend and either stabbed or threw a knife, and it stabbed him in the shoulder, and he bled out. He died. It was a very deep wound. There's some video in that trial that shows what appears to show her being quite physically abusive to him in an elevator as they're going up in the condo. A lot of stuff happening in that trial. She happens to be a what they call a model on OnlyFans, where she was making money selling videos of her. I'll let you go with that. But interesting situation. Lots of money involved. Tons of money. Millions of dollars in that business. Kid Kitty says, I think juror number 124, 154, 173, 471. We're just guessing here, or 243. It's one of those jurors. 700 something, says Misty Farley. I don't remember. Let's see. I've been a juror and it ended up being a hung jury. Did you get a dynamite charge, Jen? Did the judge send you back and say, try harder? I've been on the jury, but after realizing I knew about the people, they let me go, says Debbie. They want this one done by tomorrow. That's a lot of pressure, considering 6 weeks of evidence. What does Mrs. R.A. think? I'm not sure. I have to check with her. It's so cool. It looks like lurkers are coming into the chat. Welcome to all our lurkers and to your new addiction. We've got lurkers who have been here from the get-go. We've had a few people. Carl says, just sent you a text. Carl, let me take a look and see what you sent. The burner phone is saying, can I call back? Of course. Carl, give me a call back. And this will be interesting because Carl's saying he just watched the Netflix Moselle episode. And it changed his opinion. So keep in mind that this episode is not something the jury's seen, but it's information and the way it's presented has influenced Carl enough to change his position.
Call
here.
from.
Hey, this is Recovery Addict. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Is this Carl?
Yes, it is.
Carl, thank you for the text. And let me know what you saw.
After I spoke before, I ran inside. My wife wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to watch it until the trial was over. So I watched it. And I just watched the Moselle episode. There's a bunch of different episodes about the Mallory Beach thing and a bunch of stuff. But I watched the Moselle episode. And in the episode, before the day of the murder, they did the whole pretty much a bunch of what was going on with their life. And they showed some documents where, I don't know, I guess we couldn't come into that trial. Maggie had forensic accountants come in to go over their bills. The bills weren't being paid. They were fighting all the time. All this stuff. And
Carl, you're breaking up just a tiny bit. We're losing every couple of words. You said that they had showed some documents about a forensic accountant that looked at things and they were fighting over money.
Yes, they should. That it was like a month from the month leading up to the murders. She had gotten a forensic accountant, and then they said that there was rumored that she was seeing a divorce attorney, but they didn't have any proof of that. But they did have the proof of the forensic accountant and the fighting over money, and that she wasn't staying at the house anymore, which we kind of knew that. So that kind of really swayed me. I told you before I was like 80-20. I'm 100%.
Really? Okay. Jurors don't have the benefit of that information because it wasn't presented in trial. I'm not sure if it wasn't admissible or if it if they thought it would just confuse the jury. So the jury has to make the decision without that knowledge. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
I'm interested to know why that wasn't allowed. I'm going to do some more research on that.
Yeah, I think the admissibility of evidence is just because there's evidence out there, you'd think it should all be allowed in. But the judge really, you have to lay a foundation. You have to be able to authenticate it. And so you might end up with like, I got this hot tip of, somebody sent me this, but I can't tell you who it was type thing. Well, even if it's like video of the crime, you may not be able to get it in because it's not authenticated. You can't lay the groundwork that way. So it sometimes would be frustrating, I'm sure, for the prosecutors when their best evidence is not admissible or might be ruled inadmissible in a pretrial hearing or something because of its prejudicial value.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I wanted to call back was because of the poll that you had earlier. If I had watched this before today, I would have been 100% guilty going in. So but now even after hearing it, and then I was like 80-20, this just solidified it for me. Wow.
Well, Carl, thanks you. I appreciate you calling back. Thanks for sharing that information. I think that sort of answers one of the questions Nicole has, because I think she was trying to express, and she's the one that asked me to do that poll, just how influential those documentaries can be, those videos can be, which can either be a plus or a minus because it's made by some executive made some decisions, and a producer decided, hey, let's shoot it this way, or show these angles, or play this music in the background, or use this effect, and maybe maybe that could influence you a little bit in how they present it. But interesting. I appreciate your take.
Yeah, and you can tell sensationalized a lot of it. I mean, I'm sure so much of it was exaggerated, but at the same time, stuff that was like, okay. But anyway, I just want to say again, you guys are doing great. You're doing great, and everybody, I love you all, and we'll see you in the chat.
All right. Thanks a lot, Carl. Appreciate it. We'll see you. Bye.
Call from Susan. To accept.
Hello, Susan. This is Recovery Addict. How are you doing?
I'm on the air, actually.
You are right now. You might want to turn down your TV because it'll be like 4 or 5 seconds of delay. But I'll do jumping jacks here so you know it's me.
Okay. There's nothing on, so.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Susan?
I'm thinking I'm usually pretty sympathetic and like, oh no, did this person do it or not? This case, I'm like, what are people thinking? He was there within minutes of them being shot. He was trying to change people's stories. 2 things right there. Besides his character, what do people need to know? This guy had everything coming down on him. He was known to use like the stall tactic, even in his own planning his suicide. He did it.
Yeah. So you're solidly convinced. You could not be swayed another direction.
I could not be swayed, and they probably will be swayed because here's why. People can't wrap their heads around someone actually being face to face with their family and doing this sort of thing. It's appalling.
It is. And that's hard for all of us to look at that and say, what would justify that sort of violence, right? And none of us have been there, and so we'd say nothing, right? But for some people, something did.
In his case, I think so. When you think about the back history of, hey, we're Murdaughs. This doesn't happen to us. We don't get caught. And now look at me. Everything's tumbling down on me. He wants Buster to be a lawyer. It's so important to him. I've heard the prison phone calls. This is about family history. This is about his whole empire falling. This isn't about a daily life I can even equate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your opinion. Thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate you so much. You call in.
Thank you. I want to know, first time on your channel, getting through like that was incredible. So thank you.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll see you in chat.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just want to highlight here, Michelle, as we're reading through, she just said, I just received in the mail, a jury summons, and you're like, right now. It happens to real people, Michelle, and apparently it's happening to you. You probably have a little bit of heads up. The way most jury summons work, as far as I know, you're said you're going to be like in the pool for a period of time, and if during that time one of the trials needs jurors, you could be selected. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with one of the amazing cases you want to follow on the live stream. But if you do get selected, and after you're able to talk, we would love to hear about your experience after, once the judge has released you from everything. I don't want to watch anything that isn't shown in court, says Ann G. Yeah, I'm curious. I know, and I'd agree. I see that point very well, and I haven't watched the Netflix or HBO side. I think Thal's calling back in.
Call from.
Call.
See, that didn't sound like Bob at all that time.
It was it was weird. It's all right. Anyway, real quick, you mentioned nurses.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for, I don't know, like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, for security in an emergency room.
Right.
And the nurses there are hardcore. Like, I saw them throw cops out. The ER nurses would throw cops out, police out, if they could not handle it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so like what they're talking about, what the head nurse was talking about that ran the place back there, and she was hardcore. She was tough as a coffin nail. You know what I mean? She was going to get her job done, and you best stay out of her way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for security, she was a little bit nicer to security, but she was still pretty hard on us too. Because this was her ER. She made no bones about it. You didn't mistake you were in anybody else's house. But I had a guy, they brought a guy in that had a heart attack, and we carried him from the car through the ER entrance into the back. Okay?
Okay.
He's pretty much deceased. And so they strapped this mechanical device on him that pumps his chest. Okay? Tries to get his heart going again. Okay? So this thing's kicking like a piston. I'm 5 feet away. He's staring at me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's not moving his eyes, of course. And then I'm told by the head nurse there, go up front and make sure that the registration doesn't let the wife back here. Right?
Yeah, man.
I'm like, okay. So I've seen all this. I get up. I go into registration. Registration almost brought the wife back to the ER room while this is all going on.
That could have been pretty traumatic. Wow.
And yeah, so I've got a nurse. I've got a wife that's flipping out, wants to see her husband. I have to calm her down, move her back to the front. You know what I mean? All the while I can still see that guy's eyes staring at me in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and that's what she meant by you better be able to handle your stuff.
Yeah, and so I mean, a nurse who's been, you know, that day in and day out, you know, emergency room nurse every weekend type thing, and sees things similar to the pictures the jury gets shown during this trial. They probably are more capable to handle analytically information like that without being overcome by the shock value of what they're observing. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like I said before, I've seen the cops bring in somebody who was having, you know, they were vomiting, and they were vomiting red liquid. You know what I mean, everywhere. And the cops would like blink or just kind of wince away or something, and the nurse would just yell at them to get the hell out.
Yeah.
We're done with the cops, get out.
Yeah.
And the cops would be like, well, we got to stay, and they'd be like, fine, go out, you know, go outside in the hallway and wait. It was hilarious just to see hardened cops come in with somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then bulk. And then just see these little ladies come up and just be like, nope, we got it. And just like it's not a thing.
Yeah, I had, I'm not sure if you got time to listen. I have a weird story I can share. I was driving back in a very remote part of the country. I was driving back home with my family. It was a Sunday morning driving. We probably had 200, 300 miles to go or something like that. And up ahead, there was like a cloud of dust as we came around the corner, and a car had just rolled off the road, like rolled sideways. And we stopped, and I ran back there, and this car had flipped and ended up in a ditch, and there was wine spilled everywhere. The lady was transporting a ton of wine. She was not drunk at all, but there was wine, bottles, glass everywhere, and she was injured quite badly down in a ditch, through a fence, in a ravine. I think somebody just dropped it. It was somebody else. And so we're calling 911 and going to help, and the cop shows up. He's like, nope, there's blood. I'm not going there. I'm like, get down here and help me get her out. You know, we've got a situation where she's, you know, she was able to crawl out, and she's up through her sunroof and stuff, and it was rough. But we were able to get her out, and the cop wouldn't help at all. He's like, I don't go near blood. Nope, I can't do that.
Oh my God.
But her son ended up reaching out to me and thanking me, you know, that me and another bystander were able to help her. But it was interesting to see. You'd think the police officer would be more like the nurse, but I guess some of them just didn't handle it.
And some of the guys that worked in the ambulance were really good about it too. They were pretty hard about stuff too. And I found out like half the dudes that were in the ER, the ambulances anyway, they're firemen.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea about that before all this. I was like, really? You guys are firemen? They're like, oh yeah, I'm a fireman. And then in my off time, I do this. I'm just like, do you ever sleep?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Michelle Johnson says, Recovery Addict, if this is Thal, hi, and please tell him I appreciate the month membership. Thank you so much, Thal. You've been super generous on this channel. Many people received memberships. Many people received memberships thanks to your generosity. So thank you for Michelle and for me as well.
Well, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome. I bought one for. And just remember, if you're a veteran, the reason I can do that kind of stuff is because I'm a veteran disability and a veteran benefit. So if you're a veteran out there, get in touch with me or get in touch with me through Recovery Addict, and I will help you work out what you could possibly get for your benefits, because the VA owes you. They've said you can have these benefits. They are yours. It is money on the table. Do not leave it there.
Yeah.
Take the money, take the benefits, use them.
I'm glad they're giving you what you deserve. Those who serve should definitely be taken care of. So appreciate you, Thal. Thank you very much for calling
Not a problem, buddy.
All right.
You're an awesome show.
Thank you. We'll see you. Bye. I have to pause briefly because my phone battery's almost dead, and I have to swap some cables around. Hopefully they'll still work. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. What was that? I think it's better now. Okay. Got power and audio. This little dongle, this adapter, I'm not sure if you can see this. Oh, it's behind the text. Like Apple's the only one that makes this, and they charge a fortune for it. But it allows me to have the audio and the charger connected at the same time, which is what we need right now. Okay, my husband needs to talk to Thal, says Kib Kitty. Send me your contact information, Kib Kitty, on the burner phone, and I can forward it to Thal. Just make sure you include your name and the phone number and everything and who to send it to. It might take me a little bit to get it to him, but he's expressed a willingness to help in that area, especially if you've got VA benefits. So, all right. I love the word dongle. I am I think on one of my social media platforms, I say I'm like the senior vice president of cables and dongles. I think that's how I describe myself. I do have quite a few dongles and cables for all the wiring and things I need. Okay. Looks like the jury's coming up on 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours of deliberations. Haven't heard anything else going. I'm not sure how late we're going to go. At this point, they could go to 10 o'clock. I doubt they will. That's pretty late. That's pretty late to make them work. Mr. Winters, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining. Okay, I'm getting tons of texts. I'm not even able to keep up on them. I think we're going to wrap up. It's dinner time. A lot of people need a chance for break. Hold on there, rumbling. Is what? Hold on. Let's see. I'm not sure what that was about. I'll find out. You should see from some of the dongles I've installed, the machines my company built. They get weird. Yes, they do. Sometimes you have to make a connection between really weird devices you never thought you'd be connecting to each other. Jury rumblings happening. Happening. Okay, so hold on. We'll hold for just a minute. If anyone would know, it's Amber. So we'll wait here for a quick minute. If you want to call, if that would be easier, Amber, on the burner phone, that might work. The suspense. Tam Jules says, thanks, RA, for the chat, and everyone has been nice. A slice of, I hope everyone's day is good. Hugs all. Thank you very much, Tam. Appreciate that. Hobbit Hole just came through. Love the name. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very generous donation. Thank you very much, Hobbit Hole. I appreciate that. Let's see. Debbie, what was the last poll? The last poll was it had to do with watching the HBO and the Netflix series, and whether it changed it. And about, I think it was 40% said yes. And it was, if you think it's guilty, 40% had watched the poll. Let's see. 2.5 hours. This is not very long. I'm wondering what's happening here. Let me just see if there's nothing on Law and Crime. There's nothing on Fox. This should be a live feed right here. Got no audio there. How do we know the Netflix account is fact? We don't. That's what I don't know. And I've been involved enough with video production for made for TV type stuff that I know that even reality TV shows will show things in a way that make it more interesting. Let's see, I've got Farmer LEO just saying, I'm a retired law enforcement and love to call your show. Everyone who's texting me, that is the same number you call. You can call that number and you can get right through. So So you can give that a try. And it's somebody just did. Let's see who we've got here. Oh, this is Amber.
Oh, it's just Amber.
Oh, it's just Amber. Yeah, we'll send her to voicemail. Not just kidding. Amber,
Yeah.
what are you hearing? What are the rumblings out there?
I'm waiting on confirmation from the courthouse at the moment. Somebody's saying that there's possibility of a verdict that's come through. Jury's indicated that they don't need dinner. So I'm holding out on saying that there's a verdict already, and it could just be that they're ready to go home for the night. So I couldn't really type that in chat.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to monitor stuff, and I've got my 2-year-old son out here right now too. So I couldn't really type it in chat, so I figured I'd just call. But I'm still waiting on confirmation. So
okay,
I should get it in the next couple of minutes, I would think.
I would expect there's going to be a little bit of a delay. Hopefully they don't just bring the jury. Those are the worst. We want to. Thal says no. That means
I would think that there's some kind of like set time, like post time, like to allow everybody to get back into the courtroom, because I can't imagine everybody still sitting there at the courthouse right now.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know how far away everybody is anyhow, if they were away from the courthouse. So I don't have that info.
Yeah, it is 6:30 p.m. there right now. It's dinner time, basically. And if they've said they don't need dinner, that'll be fascinating. Okay, let me know. I'll keep an eye. Use the buffer sound if you need to get my attention. We'll be staying on here for a little bit. All right, Amber?
Alrighty, sounds good.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
Call from
Katerina.
Hello, Katerina.
Hi.
How are you doing? This is Recovery Addicts.
I'm really good. Just wanted to say, when I heard the judge say malice, to me, malice was when Alec, kind of premeditated his wife and son to come to the site. Although the other side, the defense said, he was a loving, caring man, and he couldn't have shot his family. So that kind of resonated with me.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some indicators that there was some forethought, right? Malice aforethought, says
Right.
Tam Jules.
Yeah. So
that was the moment.
And also, yeah. And the fact that the jurors, have the right to decide for themselves, not necessarily have to rely on an expert's opinion. I like that as well. To kind of weigh more of the what he did and what he didn't do kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus expert's opinion. So.
I'm just noticing one of the cameras just moved to show some action in the courtroom. This would be interesting if they have something. It could just be they have another question. So we'll get some clarification here, but definitely peeps in the courtroom. Thank you very much for sharing the opinion. I appreciate that. Obviously, that forethought is something to consider. So,
how long are you on live for?
I figured I've never done a 24-hour stream, so why not do it now? No, just kidding.
Okay.
I'd like to stay as long as the jury does today. That would be my goal.
Okay.
Gathering in the courtroom now.
Appreciate your show, and thank you very much for keeping us posted and all that.
Thank you
again.
so much. All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're hearing all sorts of rumors. I'm checking Twitter over here to see what updates we have. Jurors appear close to a verdict, says Fitz News, have indicated they do not need dinner delivered. Stay tuned. Can't say for sure, but a quick verdict usually indicates a guilty verdict. James is running to the courtroom. Do we want to, can I restart the stream? Let me see if I can just make an announcement here instead. On the, how do I do that? Hold tight. I just want to do a post. I don't know what to do. We'll follow whatever we do. Who says no to a free dinner, though? Well, they've got all those eggs to eat. Not a drama llama. I'll bet if a verdict, I'll bet prosecution is crapping. I don't know, Carl. I don't know. Not sure if they are. No way it was this quick. I have a hard time seeing anything other than guilty if it's this fast. You can't have a hung jury this quick. There's zero chance that they're going to come back after what do we have? Less than 3 hours of deliberations and say we're hung. We can't find, there's no way we can come to a reason, an agreement. Is there anything interesting that the jury does not know that we do know? Yes. We know why all the other jurors were excused. No, we get to hear a lot of the sidebar stuff because of this televised trial and all the microphones and stuff. A lot of the sidebar things that normally would be quiet, where we don't get to hear, the jury has been excused for, and we've been able to participate in that. So we get to hear and see a little bit of what the sort of the strategy is and the reasoning from each of the tables as they're trying to argue one way or another. Let's see. My anxiety is rising. Hung and out of eggs. We need more eggs, please. Let's see. Maybe they're going home early and coming back on Monday. If they said they don't need dinner, that's different. I think they're hung and then get an Allen charge. No, if they, I think there's no way we have a hung jury at this point. I would say less than 99%, less than 1%. They declined dinner. They want to be done. They can't be hung already. If there's a verdict this soon, it would have to be guilty. Let's see. My bedtime here in the UK, but staying up may be a verdict. I'm trying to watch. I was just looking on Mandy Power's website, Twitter account, saying possible guilty verdict. Seeing on the Murdaugh trial. Twitter's usually the best place to get quick information. See if Court TV has anything. Verdict watch. The jury's now in deliberations. That was 2 hours ago. Nothing newer on Court TV from that. Let's see. Things could start happening very quickly in the next few minutes, says Fitz News. Fitz News has been, aside from being mentioned on the stand, they've also been really good on getting information here about this case. Of course, we have O.J. Simpson, who weighed in. Let's go to the latest. Okay. Might just be letting them go for the night. Past 6:30, they must be tired. That's a possibility. It could just be, we want to go home. The judge will let them deliberate until 10, but he can't make them deliberate till 10. Have we done a new verdict poll today? I think we did. It was 44% guilty. And let's see, let's go here. Let's go right there. 44% guilty. Next highest number was hung jury. I think that was in the 30s. 15% not guilty, or 14%, something like that. OJ says innocent. I thought OJ said he was guilty. OJ thought he was guilty. Hobbit Hole, I think you're right about that one. Nothing but earthquakes. 3-minute warning has been given. Where? Heads up, kids, says Elizabeth. People are gathering in the courtroom. No word on verdict or a question. Okay, let's do this. It's impossible, says Gloria, that they would reach a verdict today if they are in fact reviewing all the evidence. This is where notes might come in handy, yeah? Okay, I'm going to end the stream and restart it. End the stream, restart. Give me just 2 seconds. We're going to use the same thumbnails. So please, if you're on right now, I'd ask that you click the subscribe button, ring the bell. I will be back in just a couple minutes. We're going to go live. The same thumbnail, just change the heading just a little bit. This will prevent the Associated Press UK from striking all possible revenue from me. But we'll do this real quick. We'll be right back. Okay, so no music. We'll see you in just a second. Of course, it helps if my system is set up. We'll play the music anyway. Okay, we'll see you guys in just a second. Same channel. We'll be right back.